Chapter 703. 703 Open your dog eyes wide. Qi Jin Kong, the 7 clan elders, Qi Jin Tian, and the others all turned to look at Lu Ming. Lu Ming shook his head in his heart. He had helped the Red Leopard tribe, but the pure gold mountain had repeatedly stopped him. With his personality he would have turned around and left long ago. The reason why he stayed was firstly because of Red Moon. Secondly, if he turned around and left now, he would definitely not be valued by the Red Leopard tribe. He wanted to use the Red Leopard tribe's power to find out where Xian Yanqing was. Since you want to see it, open your eyes wide and watch. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the pure gold mountain. Buzz. At the same time, a scarlet ring appeared above Lu Ming's head. There were 10 points on the ring that were as dazzling as the stars. 10 mind lamps. He lit up 10 mind lamps in the first stage. Qi Jin Kong, the 7 elders, and the others were all shocked. Some of the elders even shouted. The pure gold mountain's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Its mouth was so wide that it could swallow a dead rat. It looked at Lu Ming in a daze. In the first stage, Lu Ming could actually light 10 mental lamps and enter the perfect stage. Ah, I told you. Lu Ming's talent is the best in the extraterrestrial world. After Qi Yu's initial shock, he laughed out loud. If it's only the first stage. Maybe he's just lucky and obtained a powerful fire seed that allowed him to light up the 10 lamps in the first stage. It's not like there haven't been such cases in history, but the later stages, the harder it is to light up the lamps. I'll see how many lamps he can light in the later stages. Pure Gold Mountain said with a dark expression. Father is right. Qi Feng chimed in from the side. Oh really? Then open your dog eyes wide and take a good look. The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. Then a light flashed again above his head. This time 2 rings appeared in succession, 1 orange and 1 yellow. The 2 rings were the same as the first one. They both had 10 bright spots that were dazzling and mesmerizing. Everyone was stunned. Their eyes widened in shock. The first 3 stages were all perfect and he lit up 10 spirit lamps each. This was too shocking. Pure Gold Mountain's face was flushed red, while Qi Feng was dumbstruck. Didn't they want to see it? Then he would let him take a good look at Lu Ming. Continue watching. The sneer on Lu Ming's face grew wider. The next moment 2 rings appeared above his head. There were 2 rings, 1 green and 1 cyan, and each had 10 bright spots. The 5 rings were stacked on top of each other, and the 50 bright spots almost blinded the pure Gold Mountain's eyes. Perfect, all perfect. All 5 stages are perfect. Oh my God, what did I just see? Miracle. Genius. He's the strongest genius I've ever seen. You is right, he's the #1 genius in the outer realm. A few clan elders who were hundreds of years old could no longer control their emotions. They shouted one after another, their faces and ears red with excitement. Qi Yu's small mouth opened into an O shape as she stood there in a daze. After a while, her eyes were filled with a strange light. As for the pure Gold Mountain and the pure peak, they looked as if they had seen a ghost. They looked at Lu Ming, unable to say a single word, their lips trembling non-stop. 5 stages and 10 spirit lamps were lit. This was simply a legend. They had never heard of such a genius in their world. In fact, there was a rumor in this world that 9 was the limit and there was no way to be perfect. In other words, lighting up 9 spirit lamps was the limit. Perfection was only a legend after all. It was an expected realm, but now, it had actually appeared in a young man in his 20s. My current spiritual power should be enough, right? Lu Ming's gaze continued to fall on Pure Gold Mountain. The Pure Gold Mountain's expression changed, becoming extremely unsightly. He didn't say a single word, he couldn't open his mouth. Good. Brother Lu is indeed the #1 genius in outer space. I believe that Brother Lu will be able to break the seal. Qi Jin Kong laughed, his eyes filled with excitement. That's right. Little brother, please come forward and check those inscription arrays and see how you can crack them. A white-haired clan elder said in an extremely excited manner. Other than Qi Jin Kong and Qi Feng, everyone looked at Lu Ming with anticipation. Perhaps Lu Ming could really do it? All right. Lu Ming nodded and walked forward. He came to the place full of runes and looked at it carefully. Dandan, can you really crack it? Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Dandan. The seal here was made up of 3 completely different formations. There were more than 100 of them. The 3 different formations were linked and intertwined with each other. Furthermore, they were all extremely profound level 6 inscription formations. The patriarchs of the Sirius, Snake, and Blood Tiger tribes who had set up the formation were all peak level 6 inscriptionists. To be honest, with Lu Ming's current attainment in the Tao of inscriptions, it was still very difficult for him to crack it. The reason why he agreed was because Dandan had told him that it could break it. Nonsense, don't you know what kind of existence I am? The head of the top 10 war beasts. I have lived for countless years. I understand astronomy at the top and yin and yang at the bottom. How can a mere level 6 inscription array be difficult for me? Dandan began to boast again. Of course, she did it through voice transmission, so no one else could hear her. Lu Ming was already used to it. He directly ignored the part where Dandan boasted and said, "Oh? How can we break it?" "Kid, listen up. We'll start with the 18 flame inscriptions, then the 7 explosion inscriptions." Dandan began to give pointers. Between Lu Ming's fingers, a green flame spread out and he began to inscribe in the air. Runes appeared one after another and flew into the ground at the entrance of the canyon in different directions. Everyone from the Red Leopard tribe stared with wide eyes. Oh! Suddenly a wolf's howl could be heard. An array glowed and condensed into a giant wolf, which pounced at Lu Ming. Everyone's heart tightened and the pure gold mountain's eyes brightened. However, Lu Ming's expression was calm as he allowed the giant wolf to pounce on him. When the giant wolf pounced in front of Lu Ming, it exploded with a bang, turned into spots of light and dissipated. The first formation was broken. The first formation is broken. It's really broken. Jianghu and the 7 clan elders were all ecstatic. "Father, elder, look. I'm right. Lu Ming can definitely do it." Qiyu said with a smile. "Yes, but this seal is made up of 136 formations. The deeper you go, the harder it is to break. We'll have to see what happens later," Jianghu said. At the same time, Lu Ming continued to inscribe runes. One after another, runes flew to the ground. After a while, a roar was heard and a blood-red giant tiger pounced out and then dissipated. The second formation was broken. Following that, Lu Ming's fingers did not stop. He continued to inscribe runes in the air. One after another, the major arrays were cracked by Lu Ming. Lu Ming broke through 18 large arrays in a row at a crushing speed. He took less than half an hour. Chapter 704. 704 cracking it one after another. Jianghu and the others were getting more and more excited and expectant. Perhaps it would really work this time. May the heavens bless us, may the ancestors bless us. They prayed in their hearts. Perhaps the ancient ancestor didn't want their Red Leopard tribe to be exterminated, so he sent such a genius. The chosen one. At the same time, Jianghu and a few other clan elders thought of this word and looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with excitement and anticipation. Oh! At this moment, Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief. He sat cross-legged on the ground and closed his eyes. After breaking 18 formations, his spiritual power was not enough. He needed to recover. "We'll guard this place. No one is allowed to leave," Jianghu ordered. Just in case, they personally guarded this place. And at this moment, Pure Gold Mountain's expression became even gloomier, and his eyes flickered with a strange light. Feng looked at Lu Ming with jealousy and nothing else. 3 hours later, Lu Ming got up and continued to crack the code. However, from here on, the array became more complicated and the difficulty increased. Lu Ming's speed also slowed down. This time, Lu Ming spent more than an hour to crack 18 arrays. He then sat down cross-legged and began to recover. A few hours later, Lu Ming stood up again with a smile on his face. He realized that breaking the array in this way could purify his mental energy fire. Could also be trained. He felt that he was getting closer and closer to becoming a rank 6 alchemist. Lu Ming continued to crack the code. However, the further he went, the slower his speed became. On the first day, Lu Ming deciphered a total of 50 inscription formations. On the second day, he deciphered a total of 30 inscription formations. On the third day, he deciphered a total of 20 inscription formations. There were a total of 136 of them, and now only 36 remained. However, Lu Ming stopped when he reached the last 36. After pondering for a moment, he walked towards Jianghu. Tribe leader Qi, the next 36 inscription formations will be based on the Yin Snake tribe's formation. They are extremely vicious and unstable. If you are not careful, they will explode and destroy the valley," Lu Ming said. Jianghu's expression changed and he said anxiously, "Then what do we do?" "That's easy. Lu Ming needs a favor from clan leader Qi. Lu Ming said. Brother Lu, please speak. Even if we have to mobilize the entire Red Leopard tribe, it won't be a problem. Qi Jinkong's tone was firm. It's not that serious. I just need some materials. I have a material here called red blood sand. I need the clan leader to send someone to refine it. A jade card appeared in Lu Ming's hand. It contained the refining method of the crimson blood sand and the required materials. He handed it to Qi Jinkong. No problem, but I'm afraid it'll take 6 or 7 days to make it. Qi Jinkong looked at it and said, It's fine, tribe leader Qi. Where are the places where venomous snakes gather? I'm going to hunt some myself and take their blood essence to refine another material. Only by combining these two materials can we break the last 36 formations. Lu Ming said. A place where venomous snakes gather? To the west of the Red Leopard tribe, there is a 10,000 snakes valley. There are a large number of poisonous snakes there, but it is already in the territory of the Yin snake tribe. Qi Jinkong said. It's fine. I just need to sneak over and kill some poisonous snakes. Lu Ming smiled faintly. That's good. Little brother Lu has been working hard these few days. A few days is not a big deal for you to break the formation. Go to the Red Leopard tribe and rest for a while before preparing the materials. Although the pure gold space was anxious and excited, it was polite to Lu Ming. Lu Ming was the hope of the Red Leopard tribe. All right. Lu Ming nodded. Qi Jinkong left behind a few clan elders to guard the place while he and the remaining clan elders brought Lu Ming and Qi Yu to the Red Leopard tribe. Lu Ming, you haven't been to our tribe before, have you? I'll take you around. What is it like in the outer world? Your skin is so white and smooth. Also, the clothes you're wearing are so strange. Along the way, Qi Yu followed Lu Ming and chattered on, asking a lot of questions. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. He could not help but think of a young girl, Xian Xen. At that time, Xian Xen was also very curious and kept asking questions. Lu Ming casually explained, and they arrived at the ancient city very soon. This was a stone city, and the buildings inside were all made of stone. The stone city was bustling with people. It was completely different from the cities that Lu Ming had seen in the past. It was filled with an exotic atmosphere. When they arrived, Lu Ming suddenly had an idea. He asked, Tribe leader Qi, during this period of time, have there been any other people like me who have come from beyond the earth? Yes, there are about 100 of them. They are all living in the West Hall. We did not restrict their movements. Qi Jinkong explained. Can you take me to see it? Lu Ming said. He wanted to see if there were any acquaintances. Perhaps Xian Yanqing was here too. Of course, I'll go back and order people to prepare the red blood sand. Third uncle, you two take little brother Lu and go to the West Hall to take a look. Qi Jinkong ordered. Yes, father. Qi Yu said with a smile. There was also a white-haired elder who brought Lu Ming to the west side of the hall. Along the way, many people sized Lu Ming up curiously. During this period of time, many people from the outside world had come and spread the news. They were all very curious. On the west side there is a huge stone palace. Inside there are many stone houses. During this period of time, over 100 people have been living here. They all came from the outer world, the chaotic astral ocean. Zhong Yuan had been in a bad mood recently. He was the sect leader of the blood poison sect. He had thought that by obtaining the key to the martial emperor's treasure, he would be able to obtain a supreme opportunity, allowing the blood poison sect to soar, and he would be able to break through all barriers and reach the supreme realm. However, he did not expect that all his plans would be ruined by Lu Ming, causing countless people to rush into the martial emperor's treasure. Not only that, after entering the martial emperor's treasure, he didn't obtain anything. Instead, he was being hunted down everywhere. In the end, he had no choice but to follow the people of the Red Leopard tribe to the Red Leopard tribe. At this time, he was drinking and chatting with 2 experts at the 3rd level of the spiritual ocean tier in the courtyard. Brother Zhong, I'm guessing that the Saint Mountain in the underground world is most likely related to the martial emperor's treasure. We must join forces this time. An elder at the 3rd level of the spiritual ocean tier said. That's right. I'm guessing that there's a way out of the holy mountain. We'll be able to leave this damn place. The other 3rd level spiritual ocean tier martial artist also opened his mouth to speak. I hope so. Zhong Yuan drank a cup of wine. His eyes flickered as he thought about something. Squeak. At this moment, the door opened and Lu Ming and the rest walked in. The people in the courtyard also looked at the gate. With one look, Zhong Yuan's eyes were filled with cold killing intent and he said in a cold voice, Little bastard, it's you? Chapter 705. 705 Zhongyuan in despair. Lu Ming heard the sound and looked in the direction of the sound. His eyes were filled with a strong murderous intent. The blood poison sect master. A cold voice came out of Lu Ming's mouth. The white-haired elder in front of him was the blood poison sect master. He was the one who had injured him and tried to steal his jade sword. He didn't expect to meet him here. Haha, little bastard, I said before that I would kill you if I met you. You're really unlucky to have met me here. I'll see how you die this time. Zhongyuan laughed and stood up from the table, exuding a terrifying aura. A martial artist at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm was too powerful. He was a whole lot stronger than a martial artist at the 3rd level of the spiritual ocean realm. His aura was like a vast ocean, suppressing Lu Ming. Thump, thump. Zhongyuan stepped forward, causing the ground to rumble. What do you want to do? Qiyu stepped forward and stood in front of Lu Ming. Her face turned cold and she glared at Zhongyuan. So it's Miss Qiyu. Miss Qiyu, please move aside. This person has a grudge with me, I must kill him. Zhongyuan said coldly. No, this is the Red Leopard tribe. You are not allowed to fight. Qiyu said coldly. Miss Qiyu, you'd better step aside. This time, I've promised you that I'll go to the Holy Mountain to participate in the assessment. However, if I don't kill this person, don't blame me for not doing my best during the assessment. Zhongyuan sneered. Anyone could tell that this was a threat. Among the 100-odd people who came to the Red Leopard tribe this time, Zhongyuan's cultivation was the strongest. He had reached the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm and was the most promising candidate among all the candidates in the Red Leopard tribe. These few days the people of the Red Leopard tribe had been very polite to him. They had treated him as a distinguished guest, so he naturally had the confidence. I want him dead. At this moment Lu Ming spoke. Upon hearing Lu Ming's words, Zhongyuan was stunned for a moment before he burst out laughing. The other 2 elders at the 3rd level of the spiritual ocean tier also laughed. Ah, this brat is a peak tier king tier. Has he gone mad? He actually wants brother Zhong to die? Where does he get his confidence from? Could he have said this to Miss Qiyu and the others? That's even more ridiculous. Does he think I'm more important than brother Zhong? The young man can't recognize himself. How pitiful and lamentable. The 2 elders at the 3rd level of the spiritual ocean tier laughed out loud, their voices filled with mockery. But the next moment, their smiles came to an abrupt end. It was because Qiyu looked at Lu Ming and said, Are you serious? Yes. I must kill him. Lu Ming was resolute and decisive. All right, if little brother Lu wants to kill him, I'll do it. Let's go. The Red Leopard clan elder said from the side. With a wave of his hand, a huge leopard puppet appeared, emitting a terrifying aura. 7th level spiritual ocean tier. This cheetah had an aura equivalent to the 7th level of the spiritual ocean realm, and the strength of that aura made people's hearts palpitate and make them despair. Zhongyuan was dumbfounded. He looked at the Red Leopard clan elder with a pale face and screamed, What are you guys doing? This kid is only a martial king. I'm countless times stronger than him. Only I have a chance in the Holy Mountains assessment. You should kill him, kill him. Little brother Lu is our Red Leopard tribe's benefactor. What did he say? The Red Leopard tribe will do our best to satisfy him. Whoever he says he will kill, he will kill. Now die. The Red Leopard clan elder shouted coldly. The cheetah puppet let out a long roar and pounced towards Zhongyuan at an unbelievable speed. No, how could this be? I'm not convinced. Zhongyuan roared hysterically as he tried his best to resist. But the difference between a puppet at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm and a puppet at the 7th level of the spiritual ocean realm was too great. The cheetah puppet's claw tore through all of Zhongyuan's defenses and attacks before tearing his body into 2. The sect master of the blood poison sect, an almighty expert at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm, an expert whose name shook the chaotic astral ocean, had died just like that. He died in an extremely aggrieved manner. He didn't even know why he died. Why did the Red Leopard tribe listen to Lu Ming? The 2 3rd-level spiritual ocean realm old men looked at this scene with their mouths agape, and they almost bit off their own tongues. Then the 2 of them looked at Lu Ming while trembling. Their backs were drenched in cold sweat. The Red Leopard tribe actually listened to Lu Ming. With just one word from Lu Ming, an elder of the Red Leopard tribe made a move and killed Zhongyuan in one move. What was going on? They had all lived for more than 1,000 years, but now they found that their brains were completely unable to understand. Lu Ming strode forward and reached out to grab Zhong Yuan's storage ring. He also devoured Zhong Yuan's blood essence. Then he looked at the 2 Sea of Soul Realm old men and said in a cold voice, "You've lived for thousands of years, but you can't even understand the situation. How pitiful and lamentable." The 2 old men's faces were completely red, and they were too ashamed to show their faces. These were the words that they had given to Lu Ming just now. However, it had only been a short while and Lu Ming had returned the words to them in full. Every word of his was like a slap to their faces. Lu Ming ignored them. With Qiyu leading the way, he checked the place. Unfortunately, Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu were not here. "Miss Qiyu, I need a room to cultivate in seclusion," Lu Ming said. Zhong Yuan was at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm, and the power of his blood essence was too strong. He needed to go into seclusion to refine it. No problem. Qiyu brought Lu Ming to the core area of the Red Leopard tribe and arranged a room for him. Lu Ming entered the room and entered the supreme shrine. He began to refine the blood essence. He had used all his blood essence to improve the bloodline of the prison-suppressing steel. The stronger the bloodline of the prison-suppressing steel, the stronger the power of the prison-suppressing heavenly technique. The 9th Esilavira chakra became brighter and brighter. In the end, it was as bright as the other 9 chakra. The peak of the 9th level of the king realm. However, it was too difficult for a peak 9th level king to attain divine level bloodline. After Lu Ming refined all of Zhong Yuan's blood essence, he had a feeling that he was still a long way from attaining divine level. He did not know how much more blood essence he would have to consume before he could advance to the divine level. Half a day had passed. Lu Ming walked out of the room. "Lu Ming, you're done with your seclusion?" The moment Lu Ming came out, he saw Qiyu. "You've been waiting for me?" Lu Ming nodded. "Not really, I just got here. Do you want to walk around?" Qiyu said. "No, I'll go to 10,000 Snakes Valley to hunt for poisonous snakes. How do I get there?" Lu Ming shook his head and said, "I'll take you there. That's the Yin Snake tribe's territory. If we bring too many people, we'll attract their attention. How about just the 2 of us go?" Qiyu said. "All right." Lu Ming nodded. The 2 of them left the Stone City and headed west. The 10,000 Snake Valley was 30,000 miles west of the Red Leopard tribe. It was the Yin Snake tribe's territory. It was said that this place used to belong to the Red Leopard tribe a few decades ago. Later on, the Red Leopard tribe lost a large piece of land, and the 10,000 Snakes Valley area fell into the hands of the Yin Snake tribe. Riding on the puppet, the 2 of them arrived in less than half a day. This was also underground. If it was outside the ground, Lu Ming would not need half a day to travel 30,000 miles. Chapter 706. 706 Xian Yanqing's whereabouts. The vast mountains stretched as far as the eye could see. In the middle of the vast mountains there was a huge valley. The valley was about 100 miles long, and it was completely silent. This was the 10,000 Snakes Valley. There were tens of thousands of poisonous snakes in the valley. Other demonic beasts did not dare to approach this place, so it was very quiet. The wind howled as Lu Ming and Qiyu sat on the cheetah puppet and descended from the sky, landing at the entrance of the 10,000 Snakes Valley. The 2 of them kept the puppets and walked into the 10,000 Snakes Valley. Whoosh, whoosh. Before they could go far, a black venomous snake shot toward them like black lightning. Bang. Qiyu stepped lightly on the ground and runes appeared on the ground, forming an inscription formation. From the inscription formation, dozens of arrows shot towards the black figures. With a soft sound, the black snakes were accurately shot and flew out in all directions. The 2 of them continued forward. The valley was very wide, at least 10 miles in length. It was covered with dense weeds, old vines, low ancient trees, and piles of rubble. In some places there were even some stinky swamps. Such an environment was most suitable for poisonous snakes to breed. As they moved forward, they encountered quite a number of snake attacks. However, these snakes were all below the 5th grade, which was equivalent to the martial arts grandmaster level. Whether it was Lu Ming or Qiyu, they could easily deal with them. Moreover, the blood essence of these venomous snakes was useless. Lu Ming needed the blood essence of a venomous snake at the martial king realm. When the 2 of them had walked more than 20 miles, the level of the poisonous snake started to increase. CSI. A colorful venomous snake slithered toward Lu Ming. It extended and retracted its tongue, releasing a poisonous mist. A king-level venomous snake. I've finally seen one, A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. He took a step forward and reached out with his claw. The venomous snake could not put up any resistance and was caught in Lu Ming's hand. With a shake of his essential core, the venomous snake turned into ashes at a speed visible to the naked eye. In Lu Ming's palm, there were only 9 drops of blood essence that were red and crystal-like, rolling around like blood-red pearls. Bus. And NBSP whoosh. Then Lu Ming suspended the 9 drops of blood essence in the air and quickly carved runes with both hands. One after another, runes seeped into the 9 drops of blood essence. After a while, the 9 drops of blood essence exploded with a bang and turned into a cloud of blood mist that filled the air. It's done. Lu Ming smiled. He then took out a jade bottle and absorbed all the blood mist into it. He wanted to use the blood essence of the venomous snake to create a blood mist and use it with the crimson blood sand to break the last 36 formations. This was also the reason why his level of inscription was not high enough. If he had become a level 6 inscriber and mastered some level 6 inscriptions and level 6 arrays, he would not need these materials to break the 36 arrays. However, a bottle of blood mist was obviously far from enough. The two of them continued to look for king-level venomous snakes to make blood mist. 60,000 to 70,000 li away from the 10,000 Snakes Valley was another large tribe, the Yin Snake Tribe. The Yin Snake Tribe was very powerful. In the past few decades, they had annexed many territories of the Red Leopard Tribe, and their strength had expanded rapidly. The Red Leopard Tribe could not compare to them. In the ancient city of the Yin Snake Tribe, on top of a pavilion made of huge rocks, Xian Yinqing looked into the distance with his brows furrowed. She didn't come to the Yin Snake Tribe of her own free will. She was captured. Now she had a ring on her wrists and ankles. The ring was like a snake wrapped around her body, and it was engraved with complicated inscriptions. This ring had the power to seal the genuine qi in Xian Yinqing's body and even the flame of inscription. She couldn't use her cultivation at all. Otherwise, she would have escaped from this place long ago. Squeak. The door of the room was opened, and a young man walked in. This young man was tall and handsome, but his eyes were long and narrow, giving off a very gloomy feeling. As soon as he walked in, the young man's eyes wandered all over Xian Yinqing's body. His eyes were burning with a strong desire to possess her. What are you doing here again? Xian Yinqing frowned. Miss Ye, what do you think? I won't let you suffer if you marry me. The young man smiled slightly, which made him look even more sinister. Get lost. Xian Yinqing shouted coldly, not at all polite. The young man's face turned cold. Miss Ye, don't forget where you are. I'm trying to persuade you nicely. Don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. Get lost. Xian Yinqing's reply was still one word. Good, very good, let's wait and see. The young man's eyes were burning with anger. He scanned Xian Yinqing's body a few times before he left. This bitch, I want you to kneel down and beg me this morning. The young man's heart was burning with anger. What was his identity? The son of the Yin Snake Tribe's chief, the future successor of the Yin Snake Tribe. Yin Ke had great talent. What couldn't he get? However, a few days ago when he saw Xian Yinqing, he was shocked. Xian Yinqing was too beautiful, completely different from the women in the underground world. Most of the underground women were rough, and their skin was bronze in color. Xian Yinqing, on the other hand, had jade-like skin and a graceful figure. He was immediately attracted to her. He caught Xian Yinqing and wanted him to be his 18th concubine. However, with Xian Yinqing's personality, the result was obvious. How could he agree? Yin Ke walked in the yard with a gloomy face. Young master, what's wrong? That woman still hasn't agreed? A skinny old man walked up and asked. That's right. Not only did this bitch not agree, but she also told me to get lost. Elder Kue, what do you have in mind? Yin Ke asked. Young master, since the other party refused a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, then let's use force. Let's just cook the rice. The skinny old man sneered. Elder Kue, I've thought about it as well, but even if her true yuan and mental energy fire are sealed, her physical strength is still very strong. I'm afraid that if I were to use force, she would commit suicide. Otherwise, I would have done it long ago. Yin Ke said. As soon as he thought of Xian Yinqing's graceful figure, an evil fire burned in his body. Young master, it's easy. It's the season for poisonous snakes to breed. The snake desire flower is in full bloom in the 10,000 Snakes Valley. The fragrance of the snake desire flower has no effect on people with Zhen Yuan or mental energy fire. However, without the protection of Zhen Yuan and mental energy fire, the body will go soft and lose all strength. At that time, young Master Ren will be the one doing whatever you want. The skinny old man gave a sinister smile. Yin Kei's eyes brightened and he laughed out loud. Elder Kuei, you're really wise. Good, let's do it this way. Elder Kuei, take a few people with you and use the excuse of going out to hunt to relax. Take that slut with you and follow me to 10,000 Snakes Valley. This time, I want to make that slut feel like she's going to die in the 10,000 snakes. Alright, I'll get it done. Elder Kuei bowed. Not long after, Yin Kei, Xian Yanqing, Elder Kuei, and 6 other people rode on 7 giant serpent puppets with wings and headed towards the 10,000 Snakes Valley. Chapter 707. 707. Silly girl, you're here. Xian Yanqing didn't want to go at first, but the other party greeted her with a smile and said that it was just a hunting trip to relax. Xian Yanqing couldn't refuse. If she refused, she was afraid that the other party would force her. Not long after, they arrived at 10,000 Snakes Valley. The group of 9 people walked in. In the beginning, they were indeed hunting poisonous snakes to make some medicine. Soon they were about 30 miles away. You guys stay here and hunt for poisonous snakes. I'll take Miss Xian Yanqing to the front to take a look. Yin Kei ordered. Alright, young master, you can go. Elder Kuei laughed, but there was a hint of gloominess in his smile. Miss Xie, let's continue forward. Yin Kei said to Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing frowned. She had a bad feeling in her heart, but she had no choice but to agree. She made up her mind that if the other party had any ill intentions towards her, she would rather die than let them have their way. Xian Yanqing nodded and followed Yin Kei inside. Soon the two of them traveled another 5 to 6 miles. Red flowers bloomed all over the place. These flowers were very strange. They were in the shape of snakes, just like small snakes. They also gave off an intoxicating fragrance that smelled very good. Along the way, Yin Kei didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Xian Yanqing also gradually relaxed and slowly strolled around. But slowly, Xian Yanqing felt that something was wrong. She felt her body becoming weaker and weaker. She was very smart. She suddenly thought of something. Her face turned pale. She ran forward a few steps and said, Yin Kei, what did you do to me? You're using poison on me? Hee hee. Yin Kei saw that Xian Yanqing's body was indeed weak, and he laughed evilly. I didn't poison you. However, this place is full of snakesire flower. The pollen of this flower is like poison to those who can't use their vital essence and spiritual fire. Anyone who smells it will feel weak all over. Ah! Yin Kei laughed. You. What are you trying to do? Xian Yanqing kept retreating, feeling weaker and weaker. Hee hee, what are you doing? Bitch, I don't care what your status is outside the earth, but you'd better behave yourself here. I want to marry you as a concubine because I think highly of you, but you've refused me time and time again, and you even dared to scold me. Now, I'll let you know the consequences of rejecting me. In Yin Kei's eyes the fire was dancing. His eyes wandered all over Xian Yanqing's body, and the fire in his eyes became stronger and stronger. Don't even think about it. Xian Yanqing shouted. Her spine suddenly glowed with a red light. Then, her body darted forward and ran into the depths of 10,000 Snakes Valley. Damn it! Yin Kei shouted angrily. He didn't expect that Xian Yanqing could still use such a strange power even though his vital essence and spirit fire were sealed. He was careless and Xian Yanqing ran hundreds of meters away. He immediately chased after her at top speed. In the end, Xian Yanqing's true essence and mental energy fire were sealed. Her body was special so she could borrow some of the power of her bloodline. However, it was not much. Before she could run a mile, the power of her bloodline dissipated. She felt her body becoming weaker and weaker. She staggered and almost fell to the ground. Yin Kei caught up from behind. Hee hee, let's see where you can run to. I'll serve you well later. After running for a while, Xian Yanqing's body was covered in sweat. His sweat soaked his clothes, causing them to stick tightly to his body. His curves were even more shocking. Yin Kei's evil fire exploded as he looked on. His entire body was hot and he couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Xian Yanqing's eyes revealed a trace of despair. He touched his waist and a short dagger appeared in his hand. He pressed it against his chest and looked at Yin Kei with determination. If you want to use force, I'll die. Yin Kei's footsteps stopped and his face was dark. He said coldly, I don't believe that you don't even want your life. Then he strode forward. Lu Ming, you fool, where are you? Perhaps you and I will never meet again. Xian Yanqing closed his eyes and stabbed the dagger into his heart. In the depths of the 10,000 Snakes Valley, Lu Ming took out a jade bottle and kept a cloud of blood mist. He then frowned. He didn't know why, but he had been feeling uneasy since just now. He felt inexplicably irritable. This was somewhat unbelievable. At Lu Ming's current realm, his martial arts heart was stable. Most things would not make him feel agitated. But just now he felt inexplicably irritable and uneasy, but he didn't know the reason. Kid, what's wrong? Something's wrong with my condition. Dandan could tell Lu Ming's state. I don't know why, but I've been inexplicably irritable since just now. I keep having this uneasy feeling. Lu Ming said. Inexplicable restlessness? The deeper a martial artist's cultivation base is, the more they'll be connected to the laws of the universe and their minds will be clear. Therefore, any emotion that appears won't be without reason. Something is definitely going to happen. Dandan said. Lu Ming nodded. In ancient times, there were powerful people who could even predict some fragments of the future. It was mysterious and unpredictable. Wait a moment. Dandan closed her eyes and waved her pair of front claws, producing inscriptions. After a while, Dandan suddenly opened her eyes and said anxiously, Not good, brat, your little lover is in danger. What? Lu Ming was stunned, but he immediately realized that Dandan was talking about Xian Yanqing. Little Qing, what's wrong with her? Where is he? Lu Ming asked anxiously. It's just a few miles away, hurry up or it'll be too late. Dandan shouted. Buzz. Without the slightest hesitation, Lu Ming exploded. His figure was like a bolt of lightning as he charged out of the snake dowager. Chiyu's eyes flickered and inscriptions appeared on her body, forming a pair of wings. With a flap, she turned into a phantom and followed. The distance of several miles was covered in a few breaths' time under Lu Ming's full outburst. When Lu Ming arrived, he saw Xian Yanqing's dagger stabbing into his heart. Blood was flowing out and it was a ghastly sight. Boom. At this moment, it was as if thunder had exploded in Lu Ming's mind. He could roughly guess what was going on with just one look at this scene. Little Qing. Lu Ming roared and pounced on Xian Yanqing like a bolt of lightning. He used his essential core to wrap around Xian Yanqing's arm, stopping her dagger from continuing. However, Lu Ming was still a little too slow. Xian Yanqing's dagger had already pierced through his muscles. A part of it had already pierced into his heart. Fortunately, it was not deep. Lu Ming wrapped his arms around Xian Yanqing's waist. His essential core surged into Xian Yanqing's body and protected his heart. Silly girl, you're here. I thought I'd never see you again. Xian Yanqing blinked his big eyes and looked at Lu Ming in a daze. He did not even blink, afraid that all of this was a dream. Don't say anything. Lu Ming said as his vital essence continued to flow into Xian Yanqing's body. His combat dragon vital essence was very active and successfully sealed Xian Yanqing's heart meridian. At the same time, Xian Yanqing's wound was slowly healing. He rejoiced that he had arrived in time. If he had been a little later, perhaps it would have been an eternal farewell. Chapter 708. 708 Killing intent like the tide killing Yin Ke. Lu Ming's appearance stunned Yin Ke for a moment. At this moment, seeing Xian Yanqing and Lu Ming's intimate behavior, jealousy appeared in his eyes. He shouted coldly, Kid, who are you? He's my woman, get lost. Buzz. At this moment, Chiyu arrived. Chiyu, is that you? How dare you trespass into the territory of the Yin Snake tribe? You're courting death. Yin Ke's eyes were filled with killing intent when he saw Chiyu. Yin Ke. Seeing Yin Ke, Chiyu's face sank. Lu Ming raised his head and looked at Yin Ke. A violent killing intent exploded from his body. He said in a cold voice, Today you must die. Haha, kid, you think you can kill me? Brat, you dare to hold my woman? I will make you beg for death. Yin Ke sneered. Kill? Lu Ming waved his hand and the giant wolf puppet appeared, pouncing towards Yin Ke. A fourth-ranked divine golem. Yin Ke's expression changed slightly. With a wave of his hand, a giant snake puppet appeared. It was also a puppet at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean tier. The two puppets collided with each other. Kill? Lu Ming held Xian Yanqing in one hand and strode forward. A terrifying fist radiance burst forward. Wherever the fist radiance passed, the valley would shake. The old vines around the valley exploded and some poisonous snakes were turned into powder. Inkei's expression changed, and a picture scroll appeared in his hand. After he unrolled it, a light shield appeared and enveloped Inkei within it. On the light shield, a few venomous snakes were slithering non-stop. Boom. The fist radiance landed on the light shield, causing it to shake non-stop. However, it was not broken and Inkei was sent flying. Damn it, kill. Inkei landed on the ground and took out another inscription scroll. He unfurled it and a giant snake that was dozens of meters long flew out, pouncing at Lu Ming. The infinite dragon spear appeared in his hand. He thrust the spear forward and a three-colored true dragon flew out to collide with the giant snake. However, the three-colored true dragon was dispersed by the giant snake's collision and continued flying toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. This was clearly a 6th-level inscription scroll. Its power was equivalent to the attack of a 4th-level spiritual ocean tier. Roar. Chiyu controlled the cheetah puppet and pounced forward, clashing with the giant snake. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. The sound of air being torn rang out as Elder Kuei arrived with the other 6 people. Elder Kuei, kill that brat and capture Chiyu and that little bitch alive. Inkei shouted. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. Powerful mental energy spread out from the heads of Elder Kuei and the others, forming a terrifying storm. Giant snake puppets appeared in the air. This is bad. That's a Tier 5 divine level inscriber. Lu Ming, let's leave quickly. Chiyu's expression changed drastically. Elder Kuei was equivalent to an inscriber at the 5th level of the spiritual ocean tier. He had lit up at least 4 blue spirit lamps. His puppet was also equivalent to the strength of the 5th level of the spiritual ocean tier. Chiyu, help me take care of little Qing. I must kill him today. Lu Ming put Xian Yinqing down and pointed his spear at Inkei. At this moment, Xian Yinqing was already fine and was standing behind Lu Ming. Haha brat, you can't even protect yourself and you still want to kill me? You're dreaming. I've changed my mind. Elder Kuei, capture him alive. I want him to suffer a fate worse than death. Inkei laughed out loud, his expression extremely malevolent. CSI. Elder Kuei controlled the giant snake puppet and it pounced at Lu Ming. Its tongue was like a sword piercing through space. Chiyu gritted his teeth and controlled the cheetah puppet to charge forward, but before he could even exchange 2 moves with the giant snake puppet, he was sent flying. The other 6 people were also extremely powerful. The puppets they controlled were at least at the level of the spiritual ocean tier. There were even 2 giant snake puppets that were at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean tier. Chiyu's puppet was entangled by a puppet at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean tier, while the other giant snake puppets charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's glabella glowed and there were traces of lightning swimming around. He was ready to control the lightning cauldron and launch a fatal attack. Ta! Lu Ming controlled the giant wolf puppet to block in front of him. At the same time, he stomped on the ground frantically. Yaya, watch me. Dandan landed on the ground and kept waving its claws. Oh! The giant wolf puppet was entangled by a giant snake. It kept howling and shooting sparks in all directions. That giant snake was Elder Kuei's puppet. It was too powerful. The giant wolf puppet let out a series of banging sounds and exploded continuously. In the end, the giant wolf puppet was completely destroyed, becoming a pile of scrap metal. Kill? Go! Lu Ming shouted. The inscription formation appeared and formed a large bow. An arrow shot towards Inkei like a shooting star. Watch me. Dandan waved her claws and dense runes appeared. Countless vines appeared and wrapped around the 5 or 6 giant snake puppets, tightly binding them. Inkei's expression changed and he took out another inscription talisman scroll. After opening it, a combat sword flew out and clashed with Lu Ming's arrow. Kill. Let's use the inscription scroll together and kill that brat. Elder Kuei shouted coldly. An inscription talisman appeared in his hand, and so did the others. As soon as he opened it, all kinds of attacks were launched at Lu Ming. There were swords, sabers, ice, storms and so on. All of them were attacks that were equivalent to the spiritual ocean tier and above. Some of them were even at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean tier and above. They were too powerful and Lu Ming could not possibly block them. He would be turned into dust in an instant. Lu Ming. Xian Yinqing and Chiyu both exclaimed. Die. Lu Ming's eyes were cold. His eyebrows suddenly glowed with a bright light. A large cauldron flew out and lightning filled the air. The moment the cauldron flew out, Lu Ming's essential core was instantly sucked dry. Even his life essence was sucked away. Every time he used it, he would lose 50 years of his life. However, Lu Ming did not care. He had to kill Yin Ke today. The lightning cauldron rapidly grew in size as a fearsome might gushed forth from it. It was as if it could destroy the heavens and earth. At this moment, everyone felt the fear of facing the heavens. Retreat. Retreat. Elder Kuei's pupils contracted as he retreated in a frenzy. Not only him but everyone else also retreated in a frenzy. At the same time, runic scrolls appeared, and a light screen enveloped their bodies. Especially Yin Ke, he opened all the inscription scrolls and at least 7 light screens covered his body. Boom. The lightning cauldron descended and suppressed everything. Boundless lightning power descended, destroying all life. Bang. Bang. Other than Elder Kuei and Yin Ke, the other 6 people died instantly under the lightning cauldron. Elder Kuei and Yin Ke were like leaves in the wind, constantly drifting. The light shield on Yin Ke's body was constantly being destroyed. His face was full of fear and it was twisted into a ball. Boom. The lightning cauldron fell and quickly shrunk. It flew back to Lu Ming's glabella and disappeared. The 10,000 Snakes Valley was charred black. Whether it was the ancient trees, wild grass, or poisonous snakes, they were all charred black as if they had experienced a lightning tribulation. Elder Kuei and Yin Ke spat out large mouthfuls of blood. They lay on the ground like 2 dead fish, unable to move. Chapter 709. 709 The killing intent of the Yin Snake Tribe. Qiyu was dumbfounded. He did not expect that Lu Ming would suddenly summon a large cauldron and kill 6 Yin Snake Tribe experts with a single strike. Moreover, he had severely injured Elder Kuei and Yin Ke. All of this made her feel like she was in a dream. Boo! Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief and collapsed to the ground. Now there was not even a trace of true essence in his body. His face was pale, which was caused by his lifespan being extracted. Lu Ming, are you all right? Xian Yinqing gasped and walked over to support Lu Ming, his eyes filled with worry. Xian Yinqing's body was strong and his vitality was strong. Now the wound on her chest was slowly healing and she was fine. Little Qing, help me over. I want to kill them. Lu Ming said. Xian Yinqing nodded and helped Lu Ming walk forward. At this moment, Elder Kuei and Yin Ke were lying on the ground like mud, half dead. In such a situation they naturally couldn't control the puppets. Those giant snake puppets were all like statues, lying on the ground and not moving. Little brat, what do you want to do? I'm telling you, I'm the young master of the Yin Snake Tribe, and my father is the chief of the Yin Snake Tribe. If you dare to kill me, you'll die without a doubt. Yin Ke shouted. I said you must die today no matter who you are. It won't change the result. With Xian Yinqing's help, Lu Ming walked forward slowly. Above his head, a green spiritual fire spread out. His body was weak and he couldn't use his true essence, but he could still use his mental energy fire. Brat, I advise you to let us go. I've already sent a message back through a voice transmission talisman. If you kill us, you'll have to face the crazy revenge of the Yin Snake Tribe. At this moment, Elder Kuei sneered. He barely moved his body and a voice transmission jade talisman appeared in his hand. Haha, well done, Elder Kuei. Yin Ke laughed out loud. He then looked at Lu Ming and shouted, Brat, my father has already received the news that you're dead for sure. Now, if you cripple your own arms and legs and obediently give that slut to me to serve me, I might spare your lives. Little Qing, I can't move right now. I can't even inscribe inscriptions. I'll leave these 2 to you. Lu Ming said to Xian Yinqing as if he did not hear Elder Kuei and Yin Ke's words. All right. Xian Yinqing helped Lu Ming sit down. With a dagger in his hand, he walked toward Elder Kuei. Bitch, what do you want to do? Yin Ke roared. You dare. Elder Kuei roared. Xian Yinqing was unmoved and strode forward. Qiyu came to Lu Ming's side, hesitating to speak. Puchi. Xian Yinqing walked in front of Elder Kuei and swung his dagger. Elder Kuei's head flew far away. Then he walked towards Yin Ke. No, don't come over. Yin Ke was terrified, his face full of fear. He did not expect that Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing would dare to kill them after knowing that news of them had reached the Yin Snake Tribe. Where did they get the guts to do that? The Yin Snake Tribe was the most powerful tribe in the area. You should have expected this day to come. Xian Yinqing's eyes were filled with killing intent. With a flash of his dagger, Yin Kei's head fell to the ground. All the Yin snake tribesmen were dead. Lu Ming, we have to leave this place as soon as possible. The Yin snake tribe's experts might be here soon. Chiyu said. All right. Lu Ming nodded. Chiyu put away all the giant snake puppets that were still in good condition. Then she controlled the cheetah puppet to carry Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing and fly back to the red leopard tribe at top speed. Lu Ming sat cross-legged on the cheetah puppet's back, constantly circulating the true war dragon technique and beginning to recover his essential core. The side effects of using the lightning cauldron were just too obvious. He would lose all his true essence and his body would be weak. Even if he still had his mental energy fire, he wouldn't be able to inscribe any inscriptions. It was like he was a chicken at the mercy of others. Furthermore, he now had a better understanding of the lightning cauldron's power. The stronger his cultivation was, the more powerful the lightning cauldron would be after absorbing the true essence. With his current cultivation, he should be able to pose a fatal threat to experts at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean tier. But he might not be able to kill them. Just now, there were 2 4th-level spiritual ocean tier inscription masters in the Yin Snake tribe. The reason they were able to kill them in one blow was that those inscription masters had used their spiritual power to control the puppets, and the puppets were entangled by Dandan's formation and couldn't turn around to save them. They could only rely on the inscription scrolls to resist, and their defense was naturally greatly reduced. That was why they were killed by Lu Ming in one move. Under normal circumstances, he would at most heavily injure a 4th-level spiritual ocean tier expert, but not kill him. As for those at the 5th level of the spiritual ocean tier, they would probably only suffer light injuries. Of course, if Lu Ming could enter the Sea of Souls realm, his thunder mentality and true essence would increase greatly. Then, the power of the lightning cauldron would also increase crazily. I'm so tired. I've accumulated so much energy, but it's all used up in one go. Kid, this time you must compensate me well. Dandan lay on Lu Ming's shoulder, rolling her eyes continuously. A few hours after they had left, a strong gust of wind blew and a dozen experts arrived at 10,000 Snakes Valley, riding on giant snake puppets. The leader of the group was a middle-aged man with a poisonous snake wrapped around his neck. When they arrived, they quickly rushed into the depths of the 10,000 Snakes Valley. Not long after, an earth-shaking roar was heard. Kid from the outer world, Red Leopard tribe, kill, kill, kill. His voice was full of killing intent. Even the snakes in 10,000 Snakes Valley trembled and shrank back into their caves. When Lu Ming and the rest returned to the Red Leopard tribe, Lu Ming focused on recovering his cultivation. At this moment, Lu Ming had already recovered a stream of vital essence in his dantian. Then he took out a large number of top-grade spirit crystals and devoured the energy in them to recover his cultivation. With a trace of essential core, Lu Ming's recovery speed had greatly increased. As soon as Chiyu returned to the Red Leopard tribe, she went to find Jianghu to report the situation. What? Lu Ming killed Yin Kei? Jianghu's shocked voice came from a large hall. Yes, father. What should we do now? Chiyu stood in front of Jianghu and said. Jianghu's face was solemn. He frowned and said, Yin Buhai only has one son, and he has always doted on him. Now that Yin Kei has been killed, I'm afraid he will go crazy and take revenge. Pass down the order to strengthen the defense of all places. Also, I will immediately inform the elders to come here for a meeting. The atmosphere in the Red Leopard tribe became tense, but Lu Ming was still fully focused on recovering. Half a day after he returned to the Red Leopard tribe, his true essence had finally recovered to its peak. Little Qing, let me remove the seal on your hands and feet. Lu Ming walked out of the room and saw Xian Yanqing. Now, Xian Yanqing's injuries were much better and he was almost fully recovered. Silly girl, are you all right? Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming worriedly. I'm fine now. Lu Ming walked over and held Xian Yanqing's hand in front of his eyes. He observed the ring seal on her wrist. Xian Yanqing blushed slightly when Lu Ming held her hand. Chapter 710. 710 Chapter 710 Knocking on the door. After a while, Lu Ming's fingers moved in the air and runes appeared one after another. Then they entered the ring on Xian Yanqing's hand. Beautiful inscriptions appeared on the ring and 2 venomous snakes rushed out. The venomous snakes dispersed in the air. Lu Ming held the ring and shook it with his essential core. The ring shattered. After that, Lu Ming removed all the other rings on Xian Yanqing's body. Boom. As soon as the ring was removed, a powerful aura emanated from Xian Yanqing's body. Then it slowly disappeared. Fool, you saved my life this time, so I'll take back my previous promise. Xian Yanqing said. What promise? Lu Ming was stunned. Of course it's a promise to trample you under my feet, you fool. Xian Yanqing blinked his big eyes and rolled them at Lu Ming. A smile appeared on his face. Lu Ming smiled bitterly and touched his nose. He was somewhat speechless. Then his eyes flashed as he stretched out his arms and wrapped them around Xian Yanqing's waist. Shouldn't you repay me with your body for saving your life? It's better to repay your kindness now. Feeling the heat from Lu Ming's arm, Xian Yanqing's face turned red. He released his true energy and broke free. Repay me with your body? You wish? Seeing that Lu Ming was depressed, Xian Yanqing chuckled. But it's not impossible. It depends on your future performance. Really? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Fake. Xian Yanqing smiled and asked about Lu Ming's experience over the past few days. The two of them began to chat. In the Red Leopard Tribe's chief's meeting hall, the atmosphere was extremely depressing. Chief, there's a report from the front. The Yin Snake Tribe has sent out a large army and is rapidly approaching us. Someone reported. Pass on my order. There's no need to resist at the front. Pull back all the forces and withdraw them into the ancient city. After Qi Jinkong gave the order, he turned to the clan elders and said, Elders, come with me to the city gate to welcome Yin Buhai. After that, Qi Jinkong and the other elders of the Red Leopard Tribe arrived at the city gate on the west side of the ancient city. At this moment, a large army had already been deployed around the city gate. A few hours later, the wind howled and the world was filled with faint sounds. In the sky and on the ground, countless giant snake puppets appeared. On each giant snake puppet sat one or two people. At a glance, there were at least 10,000 giant snake puppets, densely packed together, filling the entire sky. On the city wall of the Red Leopard Tribe, a series of dazzling inscriptions appeared. A large formation appeared, along with all kinds of powerful defensive and offensive formations. At the same time, the warriors of the Red Leopard Tribe drew their bows and knocked their arrows. There were runes on the arrows and they shone brightly. A great battle was about to start. The chief of the Yin Snake Tribe, Yin Buhai, walked out and stood in the air. A venomous snake was wrapped around his neck and flicking its tongue. Yin Buhai's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. He looked at Qi Jinkong and said, Qi Jinkong, your daughter Qi Yu and two outsiders are despicable. They snuck into the Yin Snake Tribe's territory and killed my son Yin Ke. Now hand over the three of them and I'll retreat and let the Red Leopard Tribe off this time. Yin Buhai, you're really good at making things up. I heard that it was your son who wanted to defile someone else's girlfriend and was killed in anger. He was killed in a direct attack. How can you call it a sneak attack? Qi Jinkong laughed. What defile? It's that bitch's honor that my son likes her. What are their lowly lives worth? How can you compare yourself to my son? Qi Jinkong, I advise you to look at the situation clearly. Don't bring about the extermination of your Red Leopard Tribe. Yin Buhai said coldly. Impossible. Qi Jinkong's reply was decisive. Yin Buhai frowned and his face turned even gloomier. His eyes flickered and he said, How about this, Qi Jinkong? I know you can't bear to part with your daughter. I don't want you to hand over Qi Yu, but as long as you hand over the two extraterrestrials, I'll retreat. Impossible. Qi Jinkong replied with the same two words. Yin Buhai's face darkened. He said, Qi Jinkong, don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. I'll give you 3 days to discuss it. If you don't hand over the two people after 3 days, I will personally lead the army and raise the Red Leopard Tribe to the ground. I will make sure that the Red Leopard Tribe will be wiped out forever. After saying that, Yin Buhai waved his hand and led his men away. Not long after, the Yin Snake Tribe's army had all left. It was not that he was not afraid of the Red Leopard Tribe. The main thing was that he had hurriedly assembled an army this time, and their strength was not very strong. If he rashly attacked the Red Leopard Tribe, he was afraid that both sides would suffer losses. He also needed time to gather more power. As the Yin Snake Tribe retreated, Qi Jinkong let out a long sigh of relief. Pass down my order. Gather all the forces of the Red Leopard Tribe and send them back to guard the ancient city. Elders, follow me back to the meeting hall. Qi Jinkong ordered. A moment later, the meeting hall of the Red Leopard Tribe was filled with more than 20 people. Not only were the elders of the Red Leopard tribe present, but there were also many ordinary elders. Tribe leader, in my opinion, we should just hand over the 2 young men. Why start a war with the Yin Snake tribe for 2 outsiders? That's right, Chief. Those 2 young men were overconfident. They actually dared to kill Yin K. They were looking for death. We can't drag the Red Leopard tribe down because of 2 people from the outer realm. Some of the ordinary elders urged Qi Jinkong to hand over Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. No. Qi Jinkong's voice was heard. No? Why not, Chief? An ordinary elder asked doubtfully. I won't hide it from you. Lu Ming was able to break the formation that sealed the previous clan leader. Now he has already broken 100 formations. There are only 36 left. He will be able to break all of them in a few days. At that time, we will be able to find the secret inscription manual of our tribe and return our Red Leopard tribe to its former peak, said Qi Jinkong. His voice was like a storm that swept across the entire place. What? There's such a thing? Many ordinary elders were shocked. Then they fell silent. They finally knew why Qi Jinkong was protecting Lu Ming. This was related to the rise and fall of the Red Leopard tribe. Patriarch, I don't think so. A voice rang out. It was from the Pure Gold Mountain. With such a major event happening, he was naturally summoned back for a discussion. Pure Gold Mountain walked out and said loudly, there are still 36 more sealing arrays left. It's still unknown whether that Lu Ming can really break them. Moreover, even if he can break them, so what if we get the inscription refinement secret manual? The Yin Snake tribe destroyed our tribe before we could even rise to power. I think we should hand over Lu Ming and that woman to stabilize the Yin Snake tribe first. That way at least we won't be destroyed. The Pure Gold Mountain's words caused many elders to fall into deep thought. Indeed, the Pure Gold Mountain's words were not without reason. If the tribe was annihilated, what was the point of obtaining the inscription secret manual? Qi Jinkong also frowned. He could not refute this. Chapter 711. 711 Chapter 711 Way to Win. Seeing everyone's expression, Pure Gold Mountain's face revealed a smug expression, and he continued, moreover, there are only 36 sealing formations left. As long as we hand over Lu Ming and the woman, we can stabilize the Yin Snake tribe. Then we can slowly think of a way to break the last 36 formations. This is the best plan. That's right, what the Pure Gold Mountain elder said makes sense. An elder spoke out, supporting the Pure Gold Mountain statement. This caused excitement to flash in the Pure Gold Mountain's eyes. I object. Lu Ming is our clan's benefactor. If we treat him this way and word gets out, what will others think of our clan? Also, the most important thing now is the awakening of the ancient ancestor. As long as we can stop the Yin Snake tribe's attack, we'll enter a period of peace. If Lu Ming can awaken the ancient ancestor, he'll definitely value our tribe. That's the foundation of our tribe's rise. Qi Yu's second uncle, Qi Jintian, said. That's right, I also agree with second brother's words. Qi Jinkong said. Second brother, clan leader, you've overestimated Lu Ming. There are many extraterrestrials who have descended this time. How did you know that Lu Ming is the legendary chosen one? We can't bet the fate of our race on this tiny possibility. Right now we have to deal with the Yin Snake tribe. The most important thing is to protect our tribe. Pure Gold Mountain shouted loudly, causing many people to nod their heads. What if I can destroy the Yin Snake tribe? Suddenly, a voice came from outside the hall, causing everyone's heart to skip a beat. They couldn't help but look outside the hall. 3 young figures walked in. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing and Qi Yu. Lu Ming was the one who said those words just now. This is our clan's meeting hall. How can you bring 2 outsiders in? The Pure Gold Mountain berated. It's fine. Our clan is greatly indebted to Lu Ming. We can enter the discussion. Qi Jinkong waved his hand, causing Qi Jinshan's expression to turn ugly. The Pure Gold Mountain's face darkened as he looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, what did you just say? You can destroy the Yin Snake tribe? Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. Haha, you're so full of yourself. You're just a heaven-grade inscriber? Kid, do you know how strong the Yin Snake tribe is? Laughable, truly laughable. The Pure Gold Mountain laughed loudly, revealing a mocking expression. Hehe, I remember that you said that I was talking big before. How could a mere sky realm break the seal formation? How did I break it in the end? Lu Ming replied indifferently. The Pure Gold Mountain's face turned red. He had indeed said such words back then, but the truth had proven that his words were just nonsense. This is completely different from breaking the seal. The Yin Snake tribe is extremely powerful. There are dozens of tribes in the area. How can they be destroyed just like that? The Pure Gold Mountain chided coldly. Of course I have my ways, Lu Ming said. If you have a way, why don't you say it out and let everyone see if your method is feasible? Qi Jingshan said. I can't say it now. If I want to say it, I'll only say it to the patriarch, Lu Ming said. You're clearly trying to stall for time by spouting nonsense. What can you do? Pure Gold Mountain shouted. Because I don't trust you. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. What? Kid, what do you mean by this? If you dare to slander me, I'll kill you right now. The Pure Gold Mountain roared. All right, sixth brother, you can leave now. I believe in Lu Ming. At this moment, Qi Jingkong spoke. His voice revealed an unquestionable meaning. I believe in Lu Ming too. I also believe that. Qi Jintian and a few clan elders spoke one after another. Qi Jingkong and a few clan elders with the most authority all spoke, and the others immediately fell silent. Thank you for your trust, seniors. Clan leader, can you ask the others to leave? Senior Jin Tian and the other clan elders can stay. I have a plan to destroy the Yin Snake tribe, Lu Ming said. All right, you can all leave. Qi Jingkong waved his hand in an unquestionable manner. The Pure Gold Mountain's expression was extremely ugly. He gritted his teeth and could only retreat. Soon, only Qi Jingkong, Qi Jintian, and a few elders were left in the hall. Of course, Qi Yu and Xian Yanqing were also there. Lu Ming, do you have any way to exterminate the Yin Snake tribe? A look of hope flashed in Qi Jingkong's eyes. He was satisfied as long as he could stop the Yin Snake tribe's attack, let alone destroy them. Chief, if the Yin Snake tribe were to attack the Red Leopard tribe, would they attack from the sky or from the ground? Lu Ming gave an irrelevant answer. Of course we'll attack from the ground. In the air they'll be covered by our arrows, and in the air they can't inscribe formations to defend. If they use inscription talismans all the time, they won't be able to afford it. If we attack from the ground, we can cooperate with each other. One person will control the puppet, and the other will inscribe an inscription formation to block our arrows. At the same time they can also shoot back arrows. Qi Jingkong explained. That's good. If I have a way to cut off the connection between the Yin Snake tribe's people and the puppets, do you have the confidence to defeat the Yin Snake tribe? Lu Ming smiled. What? Cut off the connection between the Yin Snake tribe's people and the puppets? Qi Jingkong's eyes were burning with a fiery light. The others were the same. If that's the case, our tribe will be able to annihilate the Yin Snake tribe with our puppet army. Qi Jingkong's eyes were bright as he glared at Lu Ming. If they could really annihilate the Yin Snake tribe, the Red Leopard tribe's reputation would definitely soar, and their strength would also increase rapidly. That's good. I know of a formation that can cut off the connection between the enemy and the puppets once they enter the formation. As long as we set up the formation outside the ancient city, the Yin Snake tribe will be killed if they attack. Lu Ming smiled confidently. There's such a wondrous formation. Qi Jingkong was shocked. He frowned and said, if that's the case, won't our clansman's connection with the puppets be cut off if they charge in? It's fine. I have a small puppet controlling technique here. After using it, you can avoid being cut off from the puppet by that kind of formation. Moreover, this small technique is very easy to learn and can be learned in a few hours. Lu Ming took out a jade tablet and handed it to Qi Jingkong. The clan leader can teach this little technique to some of his confidants, but please don't explain the use of this technique. It'll be troublesome if word gets out. Good haha. Qi Jingkong took it and laughed excitedly. The others were also excited. There's no time to lose, I'll go and inscribe the great inscription formation now. However, clan head, you'd better keep an eye on the Pure Gold Mountain elder. Lu Ming said as if he was implying something. Don't worry, I know what to do. Qi Jingkong's eyes flickered as he thought of something. Lu Ming nodded and left with Xian Yanqing and the rest. Chapter 712. 712 Chapter 712 War begins. Of course, this formation was told to him by Dan Dan. It was indeed mysterious and was an ancient formation that had gone extinct. However, there was a flaw in this kind of large array. It was too complicated to inscribe and required a very long time. It was impossible to activate it instantly. Moreover, it was only useful against puppets, so it slowly disappeared in the long river of history. However, it was just right for now. After walking out of the West City Gate, Lu Ming began to inscribe. One by one, the complicated inscriptions sank into the ground and disappeared. As time slowly passed, the Red Leopard tribe began to recall their forces to guard their headquarters. The Yin Snake tribe also began to gather a large number of people to prepare for battle. The other tribes were all observing the battle. Even if the Yin Snake tribe could destroy the Red Leopard tribe, they would suffer some losses. The other tribes would naturally sit on the mountain and watch. 3 days passed quickly. On the third day, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Qiyu, Qi Jingkong, and the others stood on the city wall. There were people everywhere on the city wall. In the sky above the ancient city, many people summoned their puppets and sat on their backs, floating in the sky. They're here. Suddenly, Qi Jingkong's voice sounded. 3 huge snake puppets flew towards them from the sky. They were Yin Buhai and the 2 elders of the Yin Snake tribe. More of the Yin Snake tribe's army rode on the giant snake puppets and followed the ground to the rear. Yin Buhai and the 2 clan elders stopped in the sky a few miles away. "Kid, you killed my son?" Yin Buhai looked at Lu Ming and said in a cold and heartless voice. "That's right, he should die." Lu Ming's reply was very simple. "Good, very good. Boy, I swear that I will make you suffer the most painful torture in the world. I will make you face a dilemma of life and death." His eyes were frighteningly dark, like those of a poisonous snake. Then he looked at Jingkong Qi and said, "Jingkong Qi, it seems like you don't want to hand him over? Are you planning to bury the entire Red Leopard tribe with this kid?" "If you have the ability, you can try," Qi Jin said. His attitude was clear. "Good, very good. It seems that you have forgotten the dignity of the Yin Snake tribe after a few years of not conquering it. In that case, the Red Leopard tribe shall be destroyed." Yin Buhai's voice spread far and wide. As soon as he said the word, "Dang me," a deafening battle cry came from behind. "Kill. Raze the Red Leopard tribe to the ground. Kill all the men but leave the young women behind." The Yin Snake tribe members shouted as they controlled the giant snake puppet to follow the ground and rush towards the Red Leopard tribe's ancient city. There were too many people, at least 20,000 giant snake puppets, and 2 people were sitting on each of them. One engraved a defensive formation, while the other controlled the puppets and shot arrows at the same time. They were well coordinated. "Prepare the bows and arrows." Qi Jin waved his hand. Instantly, tens of thousands of people knocked their arrows. "Fire." Qi Jin waved his hand again. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A large number of arrows were shot towards the Yin Snake tribe's army. Each arrow had a rune on it. There were powerful explosive runes as well as gale runes that could increase speed and penetration. More than 10,000 arrows covered the sky. The Yin Snake tribe's army began to glow with runes and formations. Light barriers appeared one after another, covering both the puppets and humans. At the same time, a portion of the Yin Snake tribe's army also drew their bows and shot arrows at the Red Leopard tribe. At the same time, Elder Gu of the Red Leopard tribe also activated his inscription formation. Boom, boom. The sound of the explosion reverberated unceasingly, and the ground was constantly shaking and shaking. This kind of battle was a battle between alchemists, which was completely different from the battle between an army of warriors. However, the momentum was not small at all. However, the Yin Snake tribe had more people and more experts. They were constantly advancing and shooting their arrows. The Red Leopard tribe was already at a disadvantage. "Summon the puppets and prepare for a great battle," Qi Jingkong ordered. The defensive light shield formed by the great inscription formation on the ancient city was shaking continuously. It would not last for long. More cheetah puppets appeared on the city walls and in the sky. The Yin Snake tribe's army was getting closer and closer. They were only a few miles away from the Red Leopard tribe's ancient city. Lu Ming stood on the city wall, his gaze sweeping across the distance. "It's almost time." Suddenly Lu Ming mumbled. His hands glowed with a green light and he started to inscribe in the air rapidly. Finally, it turned into a large inscription array and flew down to the ground outside the city wall. "Great formation rise!" Lu Ming shouted. Buzz. At this moment the entire ground seemed to shake. Then countless inscriptions appeared on the ground. One formation after another, it was unknown how many there were in total, but they covered an area of 30 miles in length and width. Yes, Lu Ming spent 3 days and did his best to inscribe a large array within a 30-mile radius. Almost all of the Yin Snake army was covered in the mist. At this moment the Yin Snake tribe was in an uproar. What's going on? Why can't I control the puppets? Me too. It seems like my connection with the puppet has been cut off. How could this be? I'll try. I can't control it either. All sorts of terrified cries rang out. Those who were originally only assisting with the inscribing array also summoned their own puppets, but the result was the same. All of them were cut off from their puppets. The tens of thousands of giant snake puppets were like rocks, standing there motionlessly. Kill, kill, puppet troops, kill. Seeing this, Qi Jingkong's eyes lit up with excitement. He knew that he had made the right bet. He took the lead and rushed out of the city. Those who had been secretly taught and cultivated the puppet-controlling technique that Lu Ming had taught them all followed Qi Jingkong. They rode on the cheetah puppet and rushed outside. This army had a total of 8,000 people, and each of them had a cheetah puppet. They were the true elites of the Red Leopard tribe. Originally there were only 8,000 of them, but the Yin Snake tribe had sent out 40,000 elites. They were no match for the Yin Snake tribe. But now he couldn't control the Yin Snake tribe's puppets. He could only use inscriptions and runes to fight them. The difference in combat power was unknown. There was a huge difference in combat strength between having a puppet and not having one. Qi Jingkong led his 8,000-strong army and charged into the Yin Snake tribe's army. Instantly all sorts of howls and screams rose and fell. One-sided, completely one-sided. Although the Yin Snake tribe tried their best to resist, it was still one-sided. Without the puppets they had lost their most powerful weapon. As for the Red Leopard tribe, they controlled the puppets and attacked with all their might. The puppets were not afraid of pain or death. They madly charged forward, tearing apart the Yin Snake tribesmen one after another. Blood splattered all over the ground. Chapter 713. 713 Chapter 713 Yin Snake. How could this be? How did this happen? In the sky, Yin Buhai let out a roar of disbelief. Kill? A few elders of the Red Leopard tribe controlled their puppets and flew into the sky, attacking Yin Buhai and the others. The rest of the clan elders and elders worked with Jingkong Qi to kill some of the Yin Snake tribe's experts. The rest of you control the puppets and surround them in the sky. Kill anyone who tries to escape. Qi Jingtian was on the city wall, giving orders. There were at least 10,000 people from the Red Leopard tribe controlling puppets to fly into the sky and surround the Yin Snake tribe. Lu Ming stood on the city wall and did not make a move. The situation was clear for this battle. There was no need for him to make a move. Besides, he had no desire to fight. He realized that the blood essence of an inscriber contained a very limited amount of power. It was also of limited help to him. Only martial arts powerhouses or powerful demonic beasts would have extremely powerful blood essence. This was understandable. An inscriber specialized in mental energy fire, physical strength, and blood qi. Of course they could not be compared to martial arts powerhouses. Battle cries resounded through the heavens and earth. There were still many people on top of Red Leopard Ancient City. However, most of these people had low cultivation and did not have any puppets. Hence, they did not leave the city to participate in the battle and only guarded the city walls. As time passed, the battle cries gradually died down. The air was filled with blood and the ground was covered with corpses. The battle lasted for 2 hours before it finally quieted down. The Yin Snake tribe's army was almost completely annihilated. Only a few powerful elders managed to escape, but they were also severely injured. Even Yin Buhai had been captured with serious injuries. Under the siege of several elders of the Red Leopard tribe, he was severely injured. In fact, the Red Leopard tribe's high-end combat power was not much weaker than the Yin Snake tribes. These experts had all risen to power 60 years ago. Bang! Yin Buhai was thrown on the city wall, right beside Lu Ming's feet. Brother Lu Ming, I'll leave Yin Buhai to you. At this moment, the Red Leopard tribe's elders looked at Lu Ming with eyes filled with gratitude and respect. This battle was all because of Lu Ming. Otherwise, the outcome would have been the complete opposite. How could this be? Why does the Red Leopard tribe have such a powerful formation that can cut off the connection between humans and puppets? I've never heard of it before. Yin Buhai shouted. I was the one who carved this formation. Lu Ming looked at Yin Buhai and said coldly. It's you? It's you again. Aha, Could it be that the heavens want the Yin snake tribe to be destroyed? Yin Buhai shouted unwillingly. This is called self-inflicted suffering. Little Qing is in the hands of your Yin snake tribe. If you had treated her well, how could she have ended up in this disaster? Lu Ming said coldly. Yin Buhai looked at Xian Yanqing and laughed. His laughter was filled with mixed emotions. He didn't know if it was regret or unwillingness. Treat her well? The Yin snake tribe ruled over dozens of tribes in the surrounding area. They were used to being rude and unreasonable. Bullying happened every day in the Yin snake tribe. After so many years, the Yin snake tribe had still become more and more prosperous. Nothing had happened to them. Who would have known that because of Xian Yanqing she had offended someone she shouldn't have? She could only say that she was just unlucky. Bang. Lu Ming took a step forward and a combat sword formed. He pinned Yin Buhai to the city wall and his storage ring fell into Lu Ming's hands. Warriors of the Red Leopard tribe, follow me and attack the ancient city of the Yin snake tribe. Qi Jingkong's voice reverberated throughout the entire area. This time, the Yin snake tribe had sent out 40,000 elite soldiers with the intention of flattening the Red Leopard tribe in one fell swoop. However, the defenses of the Red Leopard tribe's ancient city were definitely the weakest. This was the best time to attack. I'm willing to follow the chief and raise the Yin snake tribe to the ground. The Red Leopard tribe's warrior roared. Immediately, the army of over 10,000 soldiers controlled the puppets and headed in the direction of the Yin snake tribe. Lu Ming did not participate in this battle. He returned to the ancient city with Xian Yanqing and cultivated in seclusion. The Yin snake tribe's elites had been exterminated, and even Yin Buhai had died. The outcome of this battle was almost predictable. In the Supreme Shrine, Lu Ming had the Path Understanding ancient tree next to him and a piece of earth intent crystal in his hand. Back then, on the small island in the Heaven Realm, Lu Ming had obtained many types of earth profound crystals. The number was not less than the wind and fire profound crystals. Now, the force of the earth had already fused with the three intents. Now it was time to improve. There were 9 types of commonly seen heaven and earth intent realms: wind, fire, water, metal, wood, thunder, ice, earth, and mountain. As for the earth mentality, it was similar to the earth and mountain mentalities, but it was more advanced. It could be said to be an evil-levered version of the two mentalities. It was a special kind of mentality that was full of heaviness, vicissitudes, and ancientness. Not only was its offensive power extremely shocking, suppressing everything, but its defensive power was also extremely terrifying. It was an extremely powerful intent realm. Right now he was only at the beginner stage of Earth Force and could not unleash its power. When Lu Ming improved it, the power it could unleash would be extremely terrifying. Gotcha. He crushed an Earth Profound crystal and started cultivating. One after another, 3 days later, Lu Ming had consumed a total of 30 Earth Profound crystals. He had cultivated Earth Force to large success, just a step away from perfection. It was obvious that Earth Force was harder to cultivate than the 9 commonly seen forces or intents. At this moment, Lu Ming ended his cultivation. In the past 3 days, Qi Jingkong had led his army to battle. Now he had finally returned. Without a doubt, the Yin Snake tribe had been destroyed. The Red Leopard tribe had broken into the ancient city, and many people had surrendered to the Red Leopard tribe. In particular, the large areas of land that had been occupied by the Yin Snake tribe in the past, as well as the tribesmen of the Red Leopard tribe who had been enslaved by the Yin Snake tribe, had all returned to the Red Leopard tribe. In a short time, the Red Leopard tribe's strength and reputation had greatly increased. The surrounding tribes were all shocked. They had never thought that the powerful Yin Snake tribe would be destroyed. Immediately, all the tribes strengthened their defenses. This was especially so for the tribes that had enmity with the Red Leopard tribe. They were even more jittery and strengthened their defenses by several times. The Red Leopard tribe held a grand celebration. During the celebration, Qi Jingkong and the other leaders of the Red Leopard tribe thanked Lu Ming in public. This battle was all because of Lu Ming. Many people were secretly glad that they had chosen to believe in Lu Ming. Otherwise, how could there be such results? The Red Leopard tribe had been suppressed ever since the previous tribe leader was killed and sealed. After being suppressed for so many years, they finally had the feeling of being able to hold their heads up high. Naturally, they were excited. Everyone was happy, but there were 2 people who weren't happy. They were the Pure Gold Mountain and the Pure Peak. Damn it, how did this happen? The Pure Gold Mountain growled in a low voice. He clenched his fists so tightly that cracking sounds could be heard. His eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. If looks could kill, Lu Ming would have long pierced through 1,000 holes. Lu Ming furrowed his brows. He seemed to have sensed something and suddenly turned to look at the pure gold mountain. The pure gold mountain was shocked and quickly turned its head. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. Lu Ming, I knew I was right. When I first saw you, I knew you were the legendary destined one. Qiyu walked in front of Lu Ming, her big eyes blinking. She was very excited. Chapter 714. 714 Trader. We haven't even reached the Holy Mountain yet. It's too early to say that I'm the chosen one. I don't know how to wake your ancient ancestor up. Lu Ming smiled. Don't be so modest, Lu Ming. I have a feeling that you're the only one who can awaken the ancient ancestor on this trip to the Holy Mountain. To be honest, if it weren't for the fact that you're from the outside world and have to return one day, and that you have such a beautiful girlfriend like Miss Ye, I'd really like to keep you by my side and be my man. Red Moon blinked her big eyes and spoke very directly. Cough cough. Lu Ming kept coughing. He did not expect Red Moon to be so direct. Indeed, the humans in the underground were different from those outside. On the side, Xian Yinqing blushed and said, I'm not his confidant. Miss Qiyu, why don't you let him stay and be your man? This pervert will definitely be willing to do it. Oh really? Then I won't be polite. Qiyu chuckled, her gaze sweeping between Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing. Pervert, quickly agree. Xian Yinqing's big eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. He emphasized every single word. Ah haha, this wine is so good. Ah, the moon is so beautiful today. Lu Ming picked up a glass of wine, took a big gulp and laughed awkwardly. However, this was the underground world. Where did the moonlight come from? 2 days later, Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, Qiyu, Qijin Kong, Qijin Mountain, and a few elders of the Red Leopard tribe gathered at the canyon where the previous chief of the Red Leopard tribe was sealed. The crimson blood sand and the poisonous snake blood mist were all ready. Now they could break the last 36 sealing formations. Lu Ming strode forward. With a wave of his hand, a cloud of crimson blood sand floated in the air. Then he took out a jade bottle that contained the blood mist of a venomous snake. He opened the bottle and the blood mist flew out, mixing with the crimson blood sand. Following that, Lu Ming's fingers moved rapidly in the air. He was so fast that afterimages appeared in the air. Whoosh, whoosh. Inscriptions attached to the crimson blood sand and the poisonous snake's blood mist flew into the grand sealing formation. Everyone held their breath and watched quietly. Qijin Kong and the others had a look of anticipation in their eyes. However, there was one exception, and that was Pure Gold Mountain. His eyes were filled with anxiety, and his gaze flickered with uncertainty. Buzz. The sealing formation glowed and a huge poisonous rainbow snake pounced out. However, the poisonous rainbow snake was covered in a layer of blood-red mist. Bang! The poisonous rainbow snake collapsed in midair. The first of the last 36 formations had been broken. Lu Ming continued to break the seal, his fingers moving non-stop. The crimson blood sand and the poisonous snake's blood mist were also constantly consumed. Soon, the second formation was broken. In this way, one after another, Lu Ming cracked the major arrays. Every time Lu Ming cracked 9 major arrays, he would sit cross-legged and restore his mental energy fire. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. There was only one formation left out of the 36. Qijin Kong and the others stared at it with wide eyes. They were so excited that their breathing became heavy. On the other hand, the Pure Gold Mountain clenched its fists and slowly moved its body to the front, close to Lu Ming's position. As Lu Ming's fingers moved, inscriptions fell on the ground. CSI. This time, a total of 3 7-colored venomous snakes flew out and crumbled in the air. The seal has been broken. The heavens have blessed our Red Leopard tribe. The Pure Gold Mountain gave a loud cry and was the first to move, directly charging into the valley. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He took a step forward and a vine shot out, wrapping around the Pure Gold Mountain. What's going on? Lu Ming, it's you. What are you doing? The Pure Gold Mountain roared. Why are you so anxious? Lu Ming sneered and dashed into the valley. The Pure Gold Mountain roared in anger. A puppet appeared and broke through the vines. He also rushed in. At the same time, the Pure Gold Mountain and the rest also rushed into the valley. The valley was not big. Not long after he rushed in, Lu Ming saw a skeleton leaning against the wall, sitting cross-legged. Lu Ming saw at a glance that one of the skeleton's claws was holding a jade tablet. On its finger was a storage ring. Get lost. Behind them, the pure gold mountain roared angrily. Lu Ming sneered. With a sweep of his vital essence, he took the jade card from the skeleton's storage ring into his hand. Lu Ming, what are you doing? You want to steal the treasure of the previous clan leader? You're courting death. The pure gold mountain's eyes turned cold as it controlled the puppet to charge towards Lu Ming. Clang. At this moment, another puppet rushed out and blocked the puppet from the pure gold mountain. It was the pure gold mountain puppet. Clan leader, don't block me. You should have seen that this brat has ulterior motives and wants to seize the previous clan leader's treasure. The pure gold mountain roared. Pure gold mountain, what are you so anxious about? Who said I wanted to steal the treasures of your previous clan leader? I'm only here to hand it over to the clan leader. Lu Ming waved his hand and the jade token and storage ring flew to Jianghu. Jianghu caught them in his hands. Tribe leader, that jade tablet should have been left behind by the previous tribe leader before he died. It should contain some important information, you should take a look. Lu Ming said with a smile. Pure Gold Mountain's face was extremely gloomy. Jianghu picked up the jade token and sank his spiritual power into it. Then his expression changed drastically and became extremely ugly. The Pure Gold Mountain's figure was slowly moving towards the outside. Elders, take down the Pure Gold Mountain. Jianghu suddenly roared. Although the few elders were stunned, they did not hesitate. Puppets appeared and surrounded the Pure Gold Mountain. Patriarch, what is the meaning of this? Pure Gold Mountain's expression was extremely ugly. What do you mean? Pure Gold Mountain, I really didn't expect that you were the one who betrayed the previous generation clan head. If not for that, how could the previous generation clan head be besieged and fall in the end? Before the previous generation clan head died, he had already recorded everything in this jade token. Pure Gold Mountain, how should you be punished? Jianghu roared, his eyes red. His heart ached. He had never thought that it was the Pure Gold Mountain that betrayed the previous clan head. Lu Ming nodded. It was indeed so. Back then, Qiyu had brought him here and said that he could break the Great Sealing Formation. The Pure Gold Mountain had opposed it with all its might and had even tried to find a reason to kill Lu Ming. This in itself was very strange. The others were hoping that Lu Ming could break the seal and let him try. Only the Pure Gold Mountain tried its best to stop him. It was as if it was afraid that Lu Ming would break the seal. Therefore, Lu Ming had been on guard against him. When they were breaking the last formation, Lu Ming had been on guard against him. He used the formation to stop him and was the first to obtain the item left behind by the Red Leopard tribe's previous tribe leader. If it were to fall into the Pure Gold Mountain's hands, he would definitely destroy the evidence. When the few clan elders heard this, their expressions also changed greatly as they looked at the Pure Gold Mountain with dark faces. Ha ha ha. Seeing that he had been exposed, the Pure Gold Mountain laughed loudly and said, "That's right. I did it all. After so many years, everything should have disappeared. It's all because of this brat. He destroyed everything. The heavens want me dead." Chapter 715. 715 Chapter 715 Sacred Mountain. What? Why are you doing this? Jianghu said. It's simple. The Yin Snake tribe and the Heavenly Wolf tribe gave me enough resources to break through a few levels. It's enough for me to use for a few hundred years. What does the death of the previous clan leader have to do with me? What does the decline of the Red Leopard tribe have to do with me? It's not like I'm going to inherit the position of clan leader, ha. The Pure Gold Mountain laughed madly. Selfish, selfish. Tribal elders, take down Pure Gold Mountain and extinguish his spiritual fire. Bring him back to the tribe and execute him in public. Jianghu ordered. There was no suspense in this battle. The few clan elders were all extremely powerful. Under their joint efforts, the Pure Gold Mountain had no chance of resisting. Not long after it was taken down, its mental energy fire extinguished, and it was brought back to the Red Leopard tribe. Lu Ming was no longer concerned about what happened next. He focused on closed-door cultivation and waited for the underground world's rest period before heading to the Holy Mountain. In the underground world, there was a 1-month period of rest every year, and half a month before and after the day of the ancient ancestor worship. During the period of ceasefire, no tribe was allowed to wage war, and no one was allowed to kill the people of other tribes who passed by. If anyone violated this rule, they would be besieged by the other tribes and annihilated. There was still about half a month before the rest period. Like Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing was cultivating in seclusion. The battle of Providence was getting closer and closer, and he felt a sense of urgency. It was said that the top 600 on the list of top 1,000 talents were almost all Sea of Soul Realm warriors, and only a few of them were King's Realm warriors. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were far from being able to compete with a spiritual ocean tier elite. Lu Ming sat cross-legged in the Supreme Shrine. He crushed the earth intent crystals one after another as he focused on increasing his earth force. 7 days later, the force of the earth had reached perfection. Lu Ming used a middle-grade profound meaning crystal to break through to the next realm. He broke through in one go and condensed an intent rune. The earth force had successfully transformed into first-level earth concept. However, this was far from enough. If he wanted to display his powerful combat strength, he had to cultivate the earth will to the completion of level 1. Lu Ming continued to cultivate with the earth intent crystal. In the blink of an eye, another 7 days had passed. Lu Ming had cultivated the intent of the profound meaning of the earth to level 1 lower tier. And NBSP, with such a terrifying increase, the number of intent crystals he had consumed was also enormous. At this time, the underground world had finally reached a period of peace. The Red Leopard tribe was preparing to head to the Holy Mountain. Little Qing housed the harvest during this time. Lu Ming asked as he strolled with Xian Yanqing in the courtyard. The wind concept has broken through to the second level. This time I'm faster than you, right? Xian Yanqing's eyes narrowed as he chuckled. You broke through to level 2? Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Xian Yanqing's talent was indeed terrifying. His thunder, wind, and fire concepts were all stuck at the limit of the first level. He was only one step away from the second level, but he couldn't break through. He didn't expect that Xian Yanqing had already broken through to the second level. Xian Yanqing's cultivation had already reached the peak tier of the King Realm. As long as his destruction intent broke through to the second level, he would be able to open his spirit sea and become a Sea of Spirit Realm expert. The spiritual ocean tier was known as the Almighty, and it was the first tier of the 3 spiritual divine tiers. It was not something that the King's tier could compare to, and was definitely a qualitative leap. However, who knew how many people had been trapped to death by this step? The two of them chatted as they walked. After a while, they arrived at a large square outside. There were already many people gathered here. One after another, huge cheetah puppets stopped in the square. Lu Ming, Monsieur, you're here. We're about to set off. Qiyu walked over and said with a smile. This time, Qi Kong personally led the team, along with 2 clan elders and more than 100 experts from the Red Leopard tribe. They were all heading to the Holy Mountain. Qiyu was also going with them. Lu Ming waved his hand and a huge cheetah puppet appeared on the ground. This cheetah puppet was equivalent to the 4th level of the spiritual ocean tier. It was a gift from the Red Leopard tribe. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing leaped onto the back of the cheetah puppet. Everyone's here, let's go. Qi Kong ordered. The cheetah puppet rose into the air and flew toward the north. Like Lu Ming, there were more than 100 people who came from the outer world. They headed to the Holy Mountain together to participate in the assessment. The Holy Mountain was to the north of the Red Leopard tribe, separated by dozens of tribes of various sizes. The distance was quite far, so they could only rush without rest. And NBSP, no tribe stopped them on the way. After 13 days of non-stop traveling, they finally arrived at the foot of the sacred mountain and set up camp there. What a magnificent mountain peak! Lu Ming stood at the foot of the mountain and looked ahead. A huge and majestic mountain stood between the heaven and earth. It pierced straight into the sky, surrounded by clouds and mist. The mountain covered a very wide area. At the foot of the mountain, one could see tribes after tribes that were clearly divided. Just like the Red Leopard tribe, they had set up camps. After 2 days, the outsiders would have to go up the mountain for the assessment. Legend had it that the underground ancient ancestor lived on the peak of this mountain. The people underground couldn't climb the mountain. According to the legends, only those from the outer world could climb the mountain. After going through a test, the person who reached the top of the mountain would be able to awaken the ancient ancestor. Could this Saint Mountain be the real location of the Martial Emperor's treasure? Lu Ming pondered. He believed that not only him but most of the people from the outside world also thought so. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 2 days passed. On this day, a dense crowd appeared around the Holy Mountain. Lu Ming, Monsieur, it said that there's an array of endless inscriptions on the holy mountain. You can't fly up, you can only climb on foot. Qiyu said to Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded. Let's go. A loud roar was heard. Lu Ming saw that someone from another tribe not far away had already rushed up the holy mountain. The strange thing was that as soon as those people rushed up the holy mountain, they disappeared. As expected, there was a formation on the holy mountain. Buzz, buzz. However, not long after, Lu Ming saw that some of the people who had rushed in flew back from inside. What's going on? What's the situation inside? Someone hurriedly asked. I need to clear the levels inside. When experts of the same cultivation level as me start to appear, more and more experts will appear after each level. If I fail, I'll be bounced back. Someone sighed. It seems like there won't be any danger if we fail. Let's go. Following that, more and more people rushed into the mountain. Not long after, more people were bounced back. On the side of the Red Leopard tribe, some people also rushed in, but they were also bounced back soon after. The situation they encountered was similar to the others. Experts of the same cultivation level appeared to fight with them. The more rounds they passed, the more experts would appear later. Little Qing, let's go. Lu Ming said. All right, be careful. Xian Yinqing's figure fluttered and rushed towards the holy mountain. Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing walked side by side. Chapter 716. 716 Heavy Assessment. The surrounding environment suddenly changed. Lu Ming realized that he was standing on a platform. In front of the platform there was a stone ladder that slanted upwards. There seemed to be another platform above it. What a wonderful formation. I didn't even notice a trace of it. Lu Ming was rather shocked. With his current level of inscription, he had not found a single trace. The formation here was definitely far beyond level 5, no, far beyond level 6. It was not something that he could pry into at his current level. Kid, the inscription formation here is incredible. It was definitely set up by an expert with extremely high attainments in inscription. Dandan, who was on Lu Ming's shoulder, looked around. There were not many people who could make Dandan say such words. Buzz. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Lu Ming. It was a brawny man in his 30s. He looked like a real person, but his expression and voice were very cold. As long as you can defeat me, you will be able to pass the next stage. Buzz. The sound of a sword rang out, and the sword chi was unrestrained. A combat sword appeared in the burly man's hand and he slashed it at Lu Ming. Peak Tier King. Lu Ming's expression changed. The one that appeared was indeed of the same cultivation level as him. It was a Peak Tier King. However, Lu Ming could kill martial artists of the same level in seconds. He punched out and the explosive fist radiance turned the figure into dust. Lu Ming strode forward and went up the stone stairs to the second platform. This time, two figures appeared on the platform. The two figures looked exactly the same as the brawny man from before. Furthermore, they were both Peak Tier Kings. As long as you can defeat us, you can proceed to the next stage. As soon as he finished speaking, the sound of swords clashing could be heard. The two strong men attacked Lu Ming at the same time. Their attacks formed a wonderful network. Battle formation. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The two burly men were not launching ordinary attacks. They were cooperating to form a large array. The power was definitely not as simple as multiplying by 2. Instead, it was multiplied by several times. However, to Lu Ming it was still nothing. He punched out, and the boundless fist force drowned the two strong men. When the fist force disappeared, the two strong men disappeared as well. Lu Ming continued to move forward. In the third stage, 4 strong men appeared. Similarly, the 4 of them joined forces to set up a formation, and its power was even more terrifying. However, he was still crushed by Lu Ming's exploding star fist and he managed to break through. 4th round, 8 strong men. 5th round, 16 strong men. At every stage, the number of people would double, and the battle formations they set up were terrifying. It was impossible for ordinary martial artists to make it through. Only a few peerless geniuses could pass it. Very quickly he had reached the 7th level. There were 64 brawny men in the 7th level, and they were all Peak Tier Kings. The formation they set up was unimaginably powerful. It's a good opportunity to train my intent. Lu Ming held the infinite dragon spear in his hand and maneuvered through the crowd. He fused the earth concept with the other 3 concepts and bombarded them continuously, tempering his own concept. A moment later, all 64 strong men were killed by Lu Ming. Whoosh! At this moment, a jade token flew towards Lu Ming. He reached out and caught it. What is this? Could it be my reward? Lu Ming's mind sank into the jade card and a hint of joy appeared on his face. The jade token contained a martial technique, a demigod-level martial technique. The demigod-level martial arts technique was extremely precious. Lu Ming kept it. As he continued to head upwards, the surrounding environment suddenly changed again. This time Lu Ming came to an underground cave. In the underground cave there was a pool of water. The water was so clear that one could see the bottom. It seems that there were a total of 7 stages before. Now we've arrived at another stage. Lu Ming pondered. For this round you must count the number of ripples in the water. If you are correct you will pass. At this moment, a voice was heard. Count the ripples of the water drops? It seems like this trial tests one's observation skills. Lu Ming's heart stirred. Then he came to the side of the pond. A drop of water fell from above and landed on the surface of the water, creating ripples. Lu Ming was highly focused, his eyes fixed on the surface of the water. Layers of ripples continued to spread. At first it was clear, but in the end, it became fainter and fainter and finally disappeared. A total of 1,356 levels. Lu Ming answered. Correct. Let's see what happens next. The voice rang out again. This time there were 2 drops of water that fell into the pool. The ripples formed by the 2 drops of water interfered with each other and overlapped each other. The difficulty was more than 10 times higher than before. Lu Ming had to count the number of ripples produced by the 2 drops of water. After a while the water droplet disappeared. 2,537. Lu Ming answered. Correct. Continue watching. The voice rang out again. There are more. Lu Ming frowned. There were 3 water droplets this time. The ripples formed by the 3 drops of water interfered with each other, making it even more complicated. Lu Ming observed it carefully. After a moment the waves disappeared. Lu Ming frowned. In his mind he kept recalling the waves that he had just seen. How many waves? The voice asked. 3,600. Lu Ming answered. Congratulations on your success. The voice was heard and then a sword flew over. Lu Ming held it in his hands. This combat sword is of such high quality. It should be a 6th-tier superior grade combat sword. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Spirit weapons were divided into low grade, middle grade, high grade, and above high grade, there were supreme grade and peerless grade. Lu Ming's infinite dragon spear was now a 6th extreme superior grade sword. The quality of this combat sword was much higher than Lu Ming's infinite dragon spear. Unfortunately Lu Ming could not use it. In another cave, Xian Yinqing waved his hand and grabbed a combat sword. A supreme grade lever 6 combat sword. Xian Yinqing kept it and continued walking. Just like Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing had also obtained a demigod-level martial arts technique and this combat sword. In a cave, Jian Filiu also passed 2 rounds and got a demigod-level martial technique and a combat sword. With this martial technique and combat sword, my combat strength can continue to improve. Jian Filiu's eyes revealed his excitement. At this moment, at the foot of the sacred mountain, people were constantly being sent flying. There's only Lu Ming and Miss Xie left. I wonder how they're doing? Jianghu sighed. Almost all of the more than 100 extraterrestrials from the Red Leopard tribe had failed. Only Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing were still inside. Dad, don't worry. I believe that Lu Ming will definitely succeed. Qiyu's eyes were bright. She had great trust in Lu Ming. The Red Leopard tribe was still fine. Many tribes were already sighing in despair because they had been completely annihilated. On the holy mountain, Lu Ming put away his combat sword and strode forward. The scene around him changed again. In front of him, 9 passages appeared, leading to the front. Lu Ming frowned. What was this test? Chapter 717. 717 Emperor Path Expert. There are 9 paths here and only one of them is the path of life. The other 8 are paths of death. Once you step in, you will die without a doubt. You can choose one to enter. The voice rang out again. Lu Ming was shocked. 9 paths, 8 paths of death and 1 path of survival. If he were to choose, the chances of survival were only 1 in 9. Was this a test of luck? Senior, may I ask if there are any hints? Lu Ming asked. No hints, you can choose. A voice rang out. Lu Ming's brows furrowed even more tightly. Could it really be a test of luck? That's impossible. Luck is something that's illusory and no one can say for sure. Since the person who set up these formations wanted to take the test, there's no way it was a test of luck. It's better to just test my luck. Lu Ming's mind was spinning rapidly. You have 5 minutes to consider. If you don't choose, you can just retreat. The voice rang out again. Why 5 minutes? I can make my decision now. Lu Ming smiled and strode toward the middle path. 9 paths appeared in front of Xian Yanqing, exactly the same as Lu Ming's. Xian Yanqing pondered for a moment before he strode into the 4th path. Jian Filia looked at the 9 paths in front of him and frowned. After a while he sighed and turned around. After a short while he appeared at the foot of the mountain. Faced with a 1/9 chance of survival, how many people could make a choice? Lu Ming stepped onto the middle path. The next moment he found himself in a huge cave. The cave was very wide, and in the middle of the cave there was an altar. At this time in the cave there was a flash of light and another figure appeared. Little Qing. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It was Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming and walked over with a smile. As expected, the 9 paths were a lie. Xian Yanqing smiled. It's not really a lie. You need to test a person's courage and wisdom, Lu Ming said. Lu Ming speculated that the previous 9 paths were not 8 dead ends or 1 path of survival. Instead, all of them were paths of survival. As for the 8 dead ends, it was purely a scare. This would depend on everyone's judgment. Of course, it would also require great courage. For some people, even if they could guess the answer, it was a different matter whether they dared to step in. What if there was really a dead end? This place required courage. There was no doubt that Xian Yanqing and Lu Ming had successfully passed the test. After a moment, no one else appeared. Only Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing appeared. Sigh, after so many years, someone has finally come here. At this moment, a sigh was heard. Who is it? Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's expressions changed. Didn't you all come here to find me? Lu Ming saw a figure appear on the altar in the middle. It was a middle-aged man in his 40s. He wore a long 2-colored robe and was floating in the air. A terrifying pressure emanated from his body. The middle-aged man did not release any aura, but the pressure he exuded was natural. Lu Ming had a feeling that he was facing a vast heaven and earth, a whole world. Strong, too strong. Lu Ming was shocked. However, this middle-aged man was obviously not a real person. He was an illusionary body that seemed to be transparent. Strong, he's too strong. He's an emperor, an expert of the emperor path. Dandan screamed in horror, her 4 limbs and head all retracted into the turtle shell. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's hearts trembled. Wasn't an imperial path expert a martial emperor? The person in front of him was actually a martial emperor? Was the martial emperor's treasure real? Interesting little turtle. The middle-aged man glanced at Dandan, then at Lu Ming and then at Xian Yanqing. It was as if the sun, moon and stars were shifting in his eyes. These 2 little fellows are interesting. They seem to be hiding a lot of things. The middle-aged man smiled and waved his hand. In an instant, Lu Ming seemed to have lost control of himself. 5 spiritual rings floated above his head. 5 stages and 10 mind lamps have been lit. Amazing, amazing. Back then, I was only at this level. Ah, good. The middle-aged man laughed. Senior, may I ask who you are? Did Senior set up the entrance to the martial emperor's treasure in the chaotic astral ocean? Lu Ming asked. The person in front of him should be the ancient ancestor that the people of the underground world had mentioned. Who am I? Sigh, it's already been thousands of years, I've almost forgotten about it. The middle-aged man let out a faint sigh. After a moment of silence, he said, My name is Lien Tsang. Lien Tsang. Lu Ming looked puzzled. He had never heard of this name. Lien Tsang, you are the Talisman Emperor, the sect master of the Talisman sect, Lien Tsang. Xian Yanqing exclaimed. Xian Yanqing's eyes widened in disbelief. What? He's the Talisman Emperor? Lu Ming was also shocked and shocked. He had never heard of the name Lien Tsang, but not many people had not heard of the Talisman Emperor. There were 4 overlord forces in the Eastern Barren Territory. The Empyrean Heavenly Divine Palace, the Heavenly Corpse Sect, the Heavenly Demon Valley and the Talisman Sect. The Talisman Amulet sect focused on inscription and focused on the Tao of inscription. Martial arts were only supplementary. The Talisman Emperor was the sect master of the Talisman sect. He had reached level 9 in the Tao of inscription, which was equivalent to the Martial Emperor realm. He was as famous as De and Martial Emperor. He was one of the few emperors in the Eastern Barren Land. He could shake the entire Eastern Barren Land with a stomp of his foot. In fact, in the entire Divine Wilderness continent, they were the strongest. It was said that the Talisman Emperor had fallen 3,000 years ago. As for why he had fallen, it had always been a mystery. But why did he appear underground? Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing had endless questions in their hearts. Little girl, you know quite a lot. Your bloodline is very special, so you should be from that family in the central continent, right? Lien Tsang revealed a smile. Xian Yanqing was silent. Lu Ming was shocked. Central continent? Xian Yanqing came from the central continent? Then why did she come to the east continent? You guys must be very curious about what happened, right? Why am I here? Liao Tsang said. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing nodded. Actually, I was ambushed and killed by someone. The person who ambushed me was the palace master of the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace, Martial Emperor Di. Lien Tsang said word by word. What? Lu Ming's heart trembled again. The Talisman Emperor Lien Tsang was killed by Martial Emperor Di's sneak attack? It was beyond their expectations. 3,000 years ago I was secretly killed by De, and only a wisp of my soul was left. I escaped into this underground world and escaped the detection of De's Martial Emperor. I've been alive until now. The Talisman Emperor slowly explained the reason. Chapter 718. 718 Becoming Lien Tsang's disciple. 3,000 years ago, Lien Tsang was beaten to the point where only a wisp of his soul was left. He escaped into the underground world. In the beginning, his heart was filled with hatred and he wanted to take revenge. Thus, he imparted the Tao of inscription to the underground humans, hoping to cultivate an imperial path expert to avenge him. Thus, he became the ancient ancestor of the underground humans. But later he realized that the underground humans had a special constitution. Perhaps because they lived underground, they were different from the great Tao of heaven and earth and were forever separated from the sun, moon, and stars. Thus, the underground humans were not like the people outside the earth, who had infinite possibilities. The humans here could only cultivate to the 6th level at most. That's right, rank 6 was equivalent to the Spirit Sea realm, which was also the god rank that the Underdark humans called. How could a level 6 help him take revenge? His remnant soul couldn't go out to find a successor. As a sovereign realm expert, he was afraid that Martial Emperor De would sense him as soon as he went out. Out of helplessness, Lien Tsang made 9 jade swords and found a few peak level 6 experts to send them out of the underground world. They built an entrance to the underground world and scattered the 9 jade swords everywhere in hopes of finding a fated person who could enter the underground world and become Lien Tsang's inheritor to avenge him. He had deliberately spread the news underground, saying that if someone from the outside world came in, there would be a person inside who could wake him up. However, as time went by, no one came in. Lien Tsang was slowly losing hope. A wisp of his soul fell into a deep sleep. In the blink of an eye, 3,000 years had passed. Who would have thought that after 3,000 years, someone would finally come in? Furthermore, there were 2 people who had made it to the last stage. As soon as Xian Yanqing and Lu Ming entered the last cave, Lien Tsang sensed them instantly due to the formation. He woke up from his deep sleep. Lu Ming sighed in his heart after hearing that. It was another Martial Emperor De. He couldn't help but think of the 9 Sons Supreme, who had also been killed by Martial Emperor De and only had a wisp of his soul left. The 2 unrivaled heroes had similar endings. You're the Empyrean Heaven Divine Guard of the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace, right? I can sense the fluctuations of the Divine Guard token on you. Lien Tsang looked at Lu Ming. In his eyes there seemed to be the sun, the moon, and the stars. Lu Ming's heart trembled. Lien Tsang and Martial Emperor De were enemies. Would he kill him? A layer of cold sweat seeped out of his back as he thought of this. Xian Yanqing moved and stood in front of Lu Ming. He stared at Lien Tsang. Even if he was an emperor, if he wanted to kill Lu Ming, he would have to fight. Haha, this young couple has a good relationship. You're very bold too. I like it. Lien Tsang laughed. Xian Yanqing blushed, but he gritted his teeth and stood in front of Lu Ming. Looking at Xian Yanqing's slender back view, Lu Ming's heart was filled with warmth. He took a step forward and held Xian Yinqing's hand, standing side by side with him. Well, the two of you are equally talented, a perfect match for each other. Don't worry, you two little guys. My grudge with DE has nothing to do with anyone else. Besides, although this little guy is Di Tian's divine guard, I'm afraid he has never even seen DE's face. Why would he be implicated? Said Lien Tsang with a smile. Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing secretly heaved a sigh of relief. To be honest, even a wisp of soul would be extremely terrifying when facing an emperor. The difference was too great. A single breath from an imperial figure could kill them 8 to 10 times over. Senior, if you're not happy, I'll have to go against Martial Emperor DE sooner or later. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said. You and Martial Emperor DE will go against each other? You're just a martial king, what kind of enmity do you have with him? Wait, could it be the one in your body? Lien Tsang's eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. Buzz. At this moment, Lu Ming's body glowed like the sun. The next moment, a figure appeared and floated in the air. Senior Jiuyang. Lu Ming exclaimed in a low voice. The figure was the Nine Suns Supreme. Junior Jiuyang greets Senior Lien. It has been thousands of years since we last met. The Nine Suns Supreme Master cupped his hands and saluted to Lien Tsang. Lien Tsang frowned slightly. Then his eyes lit up. You're Jiuyang? What was going on? From your soul fluctuations, I can tell that you've already reached the supreme level, right? With your heaven-defying bloodline and physique, it wouldn't be easy for an ordinary emperor to take you down. How did you end up like this? 3,000 years ago, before the incident with Lien Tsang, the Supreme Master of the Nine Suns had just risen to power. He was the most brilliant heaven's favorite of that era. Lien Tsang had seen him a few times, so he recognized him. Supreme Master Jiuyang revealed a bitter smile on his face and roughly told him about his experience. What? You were also killed by that old man Di. That old man Di is despicable to the extreme. Lien Tsang shouted in anger. He had been killed by Di. Because they belonged to two different forces, it was normal for them to be in a competitive relationship. However, Supreme Nine Suns was the disciple of Martial Emperor Di. He had fought for Martial Emperor Di all his life, but now he had ended up like this. How sad was that? Was really a pity. What does Di want to do? Does he want to unify the entire Eastern Barren territory? Liao Tsang said. As far as I know, his target is not just the East continent. Supreme Nine Suns said. What? He's so ambitious. Liao Tsang said. Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing stood aside and listened quietly. They had heard many secrets from the Nine Suns Supreme and Lien Tsang. They were not qualified to know these secrets with their cultivation. At this time, Lien Tsang looked at Lu Ming again. No wonder I felt that this kid's bloodline is extraordinary. He has awakened the Nine-Dragon bloodline. But it will be difficult to fight against DE. Now that things have come to this, I can only take one step at a time. Nine Suns Supreme Master sighed. But it's not like there's no chance at all. From what you've said, the Battle of Destiny is coming soon. If the Battle of Destiny goes well, there might be a chance. Lien Tsang pondered for a while and looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, are you willing to be my disciple? Acknowledge a master? Lu Ming was slightly stunned. I can see that you are very talented in the Tao of Inscription. I can teach you everything I have learned in my life. This way you will have more capital to fight against Martial Emperor Di in the future. Liao Tsang said. Lu Ming, why aren't you acknowledging me as your master? He asked. Supreme Master of Nine Suns urged. Disciple Lu Ming greets Master. Lu Ming took a few steps forward and knelt down to pay his respects as a master and disciple. To be able to acknowledge an Imperial Path powerhouse as a master, how could there be any reason for him to be unwilling? This was a great opportunity. Good, ha. Lien Tsang laughed. Then he pointed his finger at Lu Ming's glabella. A ray of light flashed and Lu Ming suddenly felt that something had been added to his mind. As for what it was, he felt that it was a little blurry and couldn't see clearly. My dear disciple, I've already sealed everything I've learned and some of my cultivation experiences into an array. Now I've inserted it into your mind. You can slowly watch and cultivate in the future. However, there are many layers of seals in that array. With your current cultivation, you can only view things at rank 5 and below. Once you become a rank 6 alchemist, you'll naturally be able to view everything that a rank 6 alchemist has to offer. Lien Tsang explained. After you leave, you have to think of a way to reorganize the Talisman Amulet sect and merge the two sects into one. We will regain our former glory. Me? Lu Ming was a little confused. How could he have the strength to deal with a behemoth like the Talisman sect? My disciple, since you are my successor and have my token, the Talisman Amulet sect is naturally yours. Once you have the Talisman Amulet sect in your hands, you will have the capital to fight against Martial Emperor De in the future. Liao Cong said. That's right, Lu Ming. This is also Senior Lien Song's good intention. Supreme Nine Sun said. All right, I promise Master that I'll do my best. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said. Indeed, if he could really control the Talisman Amulet sect, he would have the capital to fight against Martial Emperor De. Good, haha, I'm relieved. Originally, with my soul power, I could only hold on for a few years before my soul completely dispersed. I didn't expect that I would finally welcome hope before I die. Ah, the heavens have been kind to me. Lien Song laughed. Master. Lu Ming was dejected. It was already unbelievable that a wisp of his soul could last for thousands of years. He knew that Lien Song might not be able to last more than a few years. Jianghu, there's still hope for you to be resurrected. If you're resurrected in the future, you must help Lu Ming. Liao Cong said. Of course, but resurrection is easier said than done. Nine Sun's Supreme Master sighed. There is always hope in everything. All right, I've explained everything. When this girl wakes up, I'll send you all back to the outside world. Liao Cong said. Master, what about the other people from the outer realm? Lu Ming asked. As for the others, let them stay in the underground world. With my current strength, I can't send so many people out. Lien Song said calmly. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Lien Song was an imperial path expert. He was high and mighty. In his eyes, ordinary martial artists were probably like ants. If it wasn't for the fact that he and Xian Yanqing had reached the last stage, which attracted Lien Song's attention and made him his disciple, they might have been nothing more than two ants in Lien Song's eyes. Master, I want to bring a friend with me, can I? Lu Ming asked. A friend? Of course. Oh well, I'll solve this underground human problem by the way. Lien Song waved his hand and Lu Ming felt the world change. The next moment, Lu Ming appeared in the sky outside the Saint Mountain. Outside the Holy Mountain, hundreds of tribes were staring in the direction of the Holy Mountain. Most of the tribes were sighing in sorrow because all of their people had failed. Then they looked at each other to see which tribe had not come out yet. Lu Ming and Wuxia have not come out yet. There might be hope. Qi Yu, Qi Jianghu, and the other members of the Red Leopard tribe clenched their fists and stared in the direction of the Holy Mountain with endless anticipation in their eyes. Guys, look. There's someone in the air. Suddenly, someone shouted. Countless people looked up and saw a figure appear in the sky. He stood in the air and did not land. What's going on? How did this person appear in midair? The others were directly bounced back by the formation. This is strange. Which tribe sent this person? Lu Ming's appearance caused a wave of doubtful discussion. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. The people of the Red Leopard tribe were shocked. Did he succeed? Could it be that Lu Ming had also failed? At this moment, the entire Saint Mountain glowed with bright light, illuminating the land within 1,000 miles. A figure appeared in the light. This figure was 10,000 meters tall. He was huge and his body was emitting a qi that was as powerful as the sky. He was none other than Lien Song. Ancient Ancestor, the Ancient Ancestor has awakened. It really is the Ancient Ancestor. Countless people from the hundreds of tribes let out excited roars and knelt down on the ground. Chapter 720. 720 Reward, 1. Even the extraterrestrials felt the same way. The pressure from Lien Song was too strong. It was boundless, as if they were facing the universe. In the face of this pressure, the people from the outer realm also knelt down. No one was an exception. This was not a question of whether they were willing to kneel or not, but they had no choice but to kneel. This person is the chosen one. A rumbling voice came out from Lien Song's mouth. Countless people's eyes were focused on Lu Ming. This young man was actually the chosen one. Was he the one who had awakened the Ancient Ancestor? Lu Ming, it's really him. It's really him. The people of the Red Leopard tribe were all ecstatic. They were so excited that they were trembling. It was really Lu Ming, and Lu Ming was sent by the Red Leopard tribe. What reward would the Ancient Ancestor give them? They were filled with anticipation. Which tribe sent this chosen one? Lien Song's voice was heard again. It was as if the heavens were talking. His voice was like thunder, reverberating between heaven and earth. It's the Sacred Wind tribe. Before Qi Jinkong could say anything, a loud shout was heard. There was a group of people in that direction. There were more than 1,000 of them, and each of them had a strong aura. They were all rank 6 alchemists above the Sea of Souls realm. It's the Holy Wind tribe. This time the Holy Wind tribe is going to be even stronger. That's right. The Holy Wind tribe has always been the most powerful tribe with countless experts. Now, the ancient ancestor will definitely reward the destined person. They will become stronger as they grow. In the future, which other tribe will be a match for the Holy Wind tribe? The other tribes started to discuss. Detestable. The people of the Red Leopard tribe roared in their hearts. The Sacred Wind tribe was so shameless that they stole their credit. However, they didn't dare to make a sound. The Holy Wind tribe was too powerful. If they made a sound and the ancient ancestor didn't punish the Holy Wind tribe, the Red Leopard tribe would be in danger. If the Holy Wind tribe wanted to destroy the Red Leopard tribe, it would be a piece of cake. Holy Wind tribe, how dare you lie to me? You must die. Lien Song's rumbling voice resounded. 2 beams of light shot out from his eyes towards the Holy Wind tribe. Ah, ancient ancestor, please spare me. The people of the Holy Wind tribe cried out in fear. However, it was all in vain. The 2 beams of light swept past, and the people of the Holy Wind tribe all disappeared, turning into ashes. Including the extraterrestrials who had come with the Sacred Wind tribe, they had all disappeared. The 2 gazes both dead. Even though there was only a wisp of Lien Song's soul left and it was about to dissipate, his power was still terrifying. At this moment, everyone present was as silent as cicadas in winter, not even daring to breathe loudly. The Holy Wind tribe doesn't need to exist in this world. All the tribes should attack it together, said Lien Song. I will obey the ancient ancestors' decree. Countless tribes responded loudly. With just one sentence from Lien Song, the number 1 tribe in the underground world was doomed. I already know that the Red Leopard tribe is the one who has delivered the heavenly mandate. Now, I will bestow upon you a spiritual cultivation method. As soon as Lien Song finished his words, a jade token flew towards the Red Leopard tribe. Qi Jinkong received it respectfully and quickly kowtowed. Thank you for your gift, ancient ancestor. He was extremely excited. A spiritual cultivation technique. It was actually a spiritual cultivation technique. This was a priceless treasure. Given time, how many experts could their Red Leopard tribe produce? In the future, it was possible for them to become the strongest tribe in the underground world. There were so many tribes in the underground world, but none of them had a spiritual cultivation technique. This was the legendary Holy Bible. The other tribes were extremely envious. Some people looked at the jade token in Qi Jinkong's hand with burning eyes. Also, each of these 9 inscription scrolls can kill those above the god level. You can keep them. Lien Song's voice was heard again. The 9 inscription scrolls flew towards Qi Jinkong. Thank you for your gift, ancient ancestor. Qi Jinkong received it and bowed again. With these 9 inscription talismans, he could ensure the safety of the Red Leopard tribe. Some of the tribes with other thoughts immediately felt their hearts turn cold. It was obvious that the ancient ancestor wanted to protect the Red Leopard tribe. How could they dare to have any disloyal thoughts? Qiyu, clan leader Qi, Lu Ming will take his leave now. At this moment, Lu Ming's voice entered Qiyu and Qi Jinkong's ears. Qiyu looked up and saw the ancient ancestor wave his hand. Lu Ming's figure disappeared. Qiyu felt lost and sighed in her heart. She knew that after today's farewell, they might never see each other again. Lu Ming was a heaven's favorite from the outer world. The outer world was so vast, and the underground was only a stop in Lu Ming's journey. At the same time, Lien Song disappeared. Jian Filiu, who was standing in a tribe, also disappeared. The surrounding environment changed. Lu Ming realized that he had returned to the cave. With a flash of light, Lien Song appeared. At the same time, Jian Filiu appeared as well. As soon as Jian Filiu appeared, he retreated hurriedly and put on a vigilant look. He only heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Lu Ming. He looked at Lien Song, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing and said, "Brother Lu, what's going on?" "Brother Jian, in a few days the 3 of us will go out and return to the outside world. As for other matters, Please don't ask too much. Lu Ming said. Jianfiliu was stunned. However, even though he had many doubts in his heart, since Lu Ming said not to ask too much, it most likely involved some of Lu Ming's secrets. Jianfiliu was smart and naturally did not ask too much. For the rest of the time, Lu Ming and Jianfiliu sat cross-legged, waiting for Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming's consciousness sank into his mind and he realized that there was a shiny object in his mind. There were layers and layers of formations on it. This was the sealing formation that Liao Tsang had sealed in his mind. It was related to Liao Tsang's Tao of refinement and cultivation experience. Lu Ming controlled the mental energy fire and moved closer to the seal array. The first level of the array was not very strong. It was broken through by the mental energy fire not long after. Lu Ming found himself in an extremely vast space. There were countless Lian Tsangs sitting cross-legged, explaining the Tao of inscription and their cultivation experience. It was as if there were countless Lian Tsangs teaching him how to cultivate. He would listen to any one of them. Amazing, truly amazing. Lu Ming sighed. He stopped in front of one of the Lian Tsangs and started to listen. After this Lian Tsang explained for a while, he repeated what he had just said. Lu Ming listened to it a few times and felt that he had understood it. He walked to the next Lian Tsang. In this way, Lu Ming continued to listen to them one by one. These were all Lian Tsang's knowledge and cultivation experience about the Tao of inscription of level 5 and below. Although Lu Ming had already reached the limit of the 5th level, he realized that he still had many shortcomings after listening to it. His foundation in the Tao of inscription was becoming more and more solid. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. On the 4th day, Xian Yanqing's aura began to rise rapidly. The black cocoon floating above her head began to crack. Lu Ming and Jianfiliu finished their cultivation and looked at Xian Yanqing. Chapter 721. 721 Bloodline Nirvana, Return. Kacha. The black cocoon on Xian Yanqing's head cracked open and a dazzling Esilavira light flashed out. It was the light emitted by the chakra. 9. Lu Ming saw 9 Esilavira chakras at one glance. King level 9th rank bloodline. How was that possible? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. Jianfiliu was even more shocked. They had fought together before, so they knew that Xian Yanqing's bloodline was a 7th level king tier bloodline. But now, it had become a 9th level king tier bloodline. It was incredible. Not bad, not bad. This bloodline is indeed powerful. I wonder what level the 3rd bloodline is at? Lian Tsang looked at Xian Yanqing and nodded his head in satisfaction. It seems that the 9-dragon bloodline is not the only wondrous bloodline in the world. Lu Ming sighed. The world was full of wonders. In the past, the place he lived in was too small. When he stepped onto a broader stage, he would definitely see more wonderful things. There were all kinds of bloodlines, and the 9-dragon bloodline was not the only one that could be upgraded. Xian Yanqing's bloodline was able to advance to the 9th level of the king realm through the rebirth of his bloodline. A 9th level king bloodline was the highest level a 2nd bloodline could reach. If one wanted to reach the divine level, they would usually have to go for the 3rd bloodline. After a while, the Esilavira light disappeared and the blood vessels behind Xian Yanqing disappeared into her body. She opened her eyes. All right, now step onto the altar and I'll send you out, said Lian Tsang. Jianfiliu and Xian Yanqing walked up to the altar while Lu Ming came to Lian Tsang and bowed. Master, disciple will take his leave. Yes, go. I can't help you in the future. You have to rely on yourself. Liao Tsang nodded. Lu Ming's heart ached. Although he had not spent a long time with Lian Tsang, Lu Ming had indeed regarded him as his true master. Strictly speaking, this was the first master that Lu Ming had formally acknowledged. Lu Ming knew very well that this farewell might be an eternal farewell. With Lian Tsang's soul power, he would not be able to last for more than a few years. The emperor of a generation had ended up in such a state. It really made one sigh. Lu Ming bowed again and stepped onto the altar. Lian Tsang waved his hands and the altar began to shine. Inscriptions appeared and the next moment the world started to spin. When their surroundings had stabilized, they opened their eyes. With the sea breeze blowing in all directions, they arrived at a small island. This place should be one of the small islands in the chaotic astral ocean. Brother Lu, thank you, miss. Thank you. Jianfiliu cupped his fists at Lu Ming to express his gratitude. This time only 3 people came out. He knew very well that the others would probably stay underground forever. The only reason he could come out was definitely because of Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. He was extremely grateful. If he was to stay underground forever, it would be worse than death. There's no need to thank me, Brother Jian. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Brother Lu, Miss Ye, what are your plans from now on? Jian Filiu asked. We've come out to train and improve our cultivation. After the Battle of Providence starts, we'll head to the Sky Martial region. Lu Ming said. The Sky Martial region was where the main palace of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace was located. Oh, if that's the case, why don't you return to the Golden Sword sect with me, and then head to the Heavenly King domain? The Heavenly King ranking battle is about to begin. To all peak-tier kings, this is an indispensable opportunity. Jian Filiu said. The Battle of the Heavenly Kings ranking. Lu Ming was stunned. Other than the Battle of Providence, why was there another Battle of the Heavenly Kings list? Brother Lu, you don't know about the Heavenly King ranking battle? Jian Filiu was a bit dumbfounded. Lu Ming shook his head. He really did not know. Alright. In the Heavenly King domain, there are 2 Heavenly King steals that open once every 3 years. The Heavenly King steals have a miraculous effect on peak-tier kings, and many people have broken through to the Sea of Soul realm because of them. However, there is a limit to the number of places that can obtain the final opportunity. There are only 108 spots. However, there are countless peak king tiers in the Eastern Barren territory. Everyone wants these 108 spots, so it triggered a series of fights. This is the battle for the Heavenly King ranking. Now, the battle of the Heavenly King ranking is not only for the 108 spots, but also for the ranking of the kings. It is a kind of glory to determine the strongest king. Among them, the top 10 on the Heavenly King ranking are known as the 10 Heavenly Kings. Jian Filiu explained in detail. Oh. Lu Ming nodded. He roughly understood. This meant that they had to compete for both the ranking and the opportunity. The Battle of the Heavenly Kings ranking is extremely intense. Since there's no age limit, many old monsters who have cultivated for almost 1,000 years will be dispatched. There are many experts. Those old monsters may have limited potential, but after accumulating for so many years, their combat strength is extremely terrifying. Many geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents are no match for them. Jian Filiu said. Alright, we'll go to the Golden Sword sect with you first, then head to the Heavenly King domain. Lu Ming immediately made a decision. His wind, fire, and thunder intent realms were all stuck at the limit of the first level. Perhaps the Battle of the Sky King list would be an opportunity for him to break through. Without breaking through the Spirit Sea, it was almost impossible to stand out in the Battle of Providence. Xian Yanqing nodded as well. Although she had heard of the Heavenly King ranking battle, it was only hearsay. She was also quite curious. Then the 3 of them rose into the air and flew toward the west. The Golden Light region, where the Golden Sword sect is located to the west of the chaotic astral ocean. After flying for a day, the 3 of them arrived at a large island. They matched the map to their current location. It should be a 10-day journey from the Golden Light region. Let's ride the puppets. With a wave of Lu Ming's hand, a giant snake puppet appeared. This giant snake puppet was 50 meters long and had a combat strength equivalent to the 4th level of the spiritual ocean tier. It came from the Yin snake tribe. This time, Lu Ming brought quite a number of puppets back. Jian Filiu was shocked when he saw Lu Ming take out the giant serpent puppet and felt the powerful aura it exuded. I didn't expect Brother Lu to be so powerful in both martial arts and inscription. Jian Filiu sighed. To be able to control a puppet that was equivalent to the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm, Lu Ming's mental energy fire was definitely extremely terrifying. Needless to say, he was definitely a true inscription alchemist. At this age, not only was his martial arts so terrifying, but he had also reached such a realm in the Tao of inscription. Jian Filiu wailed in his heart. Was he still human? Lu Ming smiled and did not say much. The giant serpent puppet was very large and there was a lot of space for the 3 of them to ride on. Oh. The giant snake puppet flapped its wings and a strong gust of wind blew. They transformed into streaks of light and flew forward. So fast. Lu Ming was slightly shocked. After exiting the ground, he discovered that the speed of the giant snake puppet was many times faster than when it was underground. As expected, its speed was completely suppressed when it was underground. Flying became many times more difficult, and once they were out of the ground, it was as if they were suddenly freed from their shackles and were free to fly in the sky. The giant snake puppets' flying speed was even faster than their flying speed. It was truly equivalent to a 4th-level spiritual ocean tier cultivator hurrying on their way. Chapter 722. 722 Meeting the Blood Evil Island team again. The boundless ocean passed by in the blink of an eye. 2 days had passed. Riding on the golems, they could cultivate as they traveled. Yes, there's a battle cry coming from the front. Lu Ming had an idea and the giant snake puppet slowed down. Jian Filiu and Xian Yinqing also stopped their cultivation. It looks like there are pirates trying to kill the caravan, Xian Yinqing said. Let's go and take a look. Lu Ming waved his hand and put away the giant snake puppet. He transformed into 3 rays of light and flew forward. Luo Xian was in despair. She watched the people of the Flame Chamber of Commerce die one by one in battle. This time, the Flame Chamber of Commerce had a large amount of valuable goods to transport to the Golden Light region. The goods were very valuable, and the Flame Chamber of Commerce had mobilized almost all their forces. Qin Dao, the strongest expert in the Flame Chamber of Commerce, and Luo Xian's father Luo Ming, was also a peak-tier king. In addition, there were 2 other peak-tier kings, making it a total of 4 peak-tier kings. Their strength could not be said to be weak. However, the other party was even stronger because they were the Blood Evil Pirate Group. Yes, it was the Blood Evil Pirate Group again, and this time all of them were mobilized. What made them despair was that not only did the Blood Evil Pirate Group have 4 peak-tier kings, their leader was even at the 1st level of the Spiritual Ocean tier. They were completely outmatched and had already been surrounded. Bang! The leader of the Blood Fiend Pirates was called Blood Fiend. With one palm, Qin Dao spat out a mouthful of blood and retreated. Yun Sha, we've already agreed to hand over all our goods. Why are you still killing us? Luo Ming roared. He was really unwilling. Why? Last time, my 5th and 6th brothers tried to rob your Flame Chamber of Commerce, but they were killed in the end. During this period of time, I have been investigating the movements of your Flame Chamber of Commerce, intending to avenge my 5th and 6th brothers. I didn't expect to hear the news that all of you are on the move. How can I miss such an opportunity? Bloody Ghost sneered. The killing intent on his body was extremely strong. Luo Xian laughed bitterly. So that was the case. The Blood Fiend Pirates wanted to take revenge for those people. Back then, the 2 peak-tier kings of the Blood Fiend Pirates were killed by Lu Ming. However, in that situation the Blood Fiend Pirates wanted to annihilate them. Of course they had to retaliate. She did not blame Lu Ming. She could only say that the Flame Chamber of Commerce was fated to have such a calamity. Little girl, I heard that my 5th brother fell for you and was killed later on. Why didn't you agree to it back then? Why didn't you just agree to my 5th brother's request? You actually dared to resist and even ordered people to kill them. Today I'll take you down and let my other brothers enjoy you. I'll let you know what regret is. Yun Sha's voice was extremely cold as a venomous snake that was about to choose its prey. Qin Dao, you will bring Xnr to break out of the encirclement. I will block them with all my strength. Luo Ming said to Qin Dao. Father, we can't leave together. Luo Xian shouted. If Luo Ming stayed behind to block them, it would definitely be a dead end. Go, where do you want to go? Today none of you will be able to leave. The other 4 peak-tier kings of the Blood Fiend Pirates spread out in all directions. There were also many other experts who blocked the other escape routes of the Flame Chamber of Commerce. Also, who was the murderer who killed my 5th and 6th brothers? Hurry up and tell me so that you won't suffer so much. Shueisha asked coldly. I've told you that the person who killed your 5th and 6th brothers is not from the Flame Chamber of Commerce. He was just passing by. We don't know him and we don't know where they are now. Luo Xian said. It seems like you're not going to say anything? Alright, wait a moment, I'll let you say it. Shueisha's eyes turned even colder, and the aura from his body burst out. The aura of the Spiritual Ocean tier was like a vast ocean, spreading towards the Flame Chamber of Commerce's people. Luo Xian, Luo Ming, and the others felt even more despair. Are you looking for me? At this moment, a clear voice came from the distance. Upon hearing this voice, Luo Xian's body trembled. She didn't know why, but she immediately became excited and looked in the direction of the voice. The others also looked in the direction of the sound. 3 young figures stepped on the air and arrived. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. Luo Xian was excited. It's him? Qin Dao's eyes also lit up. Only the few of them knew that Lu Ming was the Azura who could kill a Sea of Souls realm deep-sea giant snake. Lu Ming was here. They were saved. But the others didn't know. Yunsha's eyes were cold as he looked at Lu Ming and said, "Who are you?" "Who am I? What a joke, weren't you looking for me just now? I was the one who killed your fifth and sixth brothers." Lu Ming smiled faintly. "So it's you. Aha, there's a way to heaven but you refused to take it. There's no door to hell but you chose to throw yourself into it. How stupid. But this is good, it saves me the trouble of looking for you." Bloody Ghost laughed out loud, his eyes extremely cold. "Oh really? From now on, the chaotic astral ocean will no longer have the blood fiend pirates." "Shaoqing, brother Jian, I'll leave the rest to you," Lu Ming said as he stepped forward. "Good, haha." Jian Filiu smiled and walked toward a peak-tier king. "Brat, you're looking for death." The peak-tier king roared as a bright blade light slashed toward Jian Filiu. Buzz. A light sword sound rang out as a golden light flashed. Then, everyone was shocked to find that the Peak King Realm Pirate's blade light had been shattered. A bloody gash appeared in the middle of his forehead, and then his body was split in two. A Peak-tier king was killed by a single sword strike. Everyone was dumbfounded. At the same time, Xian Yinqing arrived in front of a Peak-tier king. But what happened next was even more terrifying. Just as the Peak-tier king was about to attack, he froze on the spot, and only an expression of extreme fear could be seen on his face. Then with a bang this Peak-tier king turned into a cloud of blood mist, which spread in the air. He died and turned into dust. CSI. Everyone around them felt as if their chests were being sucked in by an air pump. Terrifying, too terrifying. A Peak-tier king had been killed without even the slightest chance to retaliate. However, Xian Yinqing and the others were clearly only Peak-tier king tiers. Who are they? Luo Ming was stunned and stammered. Luo Xen took a deep breath, pointed to Jian Filiu and said, "King Yama." "Yaksha." He immediately pointed at Xian Yinqing. Finally he pointed at Lu Ming and said, "Azura." And NBSP. Luo Ming's pupils contracted and he took a few deep breaths and said, "So it's them. No wonder, no wonder." Azura, King of Hell, Yaksha, everyone on Golden Sand Island knew about them. Of course Luo Ming had also heard of them. He knew that the Flame Chamber of Commerce could finally be saved today. After killing two Peak-tier kings, Xian Yinqing and Jian Filiu appeared in front of the other two Peak-tier kings, and their powerful auras enveloped the two. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.